Beloved, Spirit never blesses without warning. Before your miracle arrives, the universe whispers in ways you cannot ignore. Have you felt lately that something is shifting, that doors are stirring, that signs are chasing you no matter where you turn? This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Nothing ever happens without a sign." When blessing is near, heaven will give you signals so clear that even your doubt cannot drown them out. These signs are not random. They are proof that your manifestation is already moving in your direction. In the next few moments, I will reveal the 3 unmistakable signs the universe gives before the breakthrough appears. If you notice these in your life, it means your blessing is closer than you think. So do not scroll away, beloved, because Spirit may be confirming to you right now that the prayer you've whispered is already answered. Sign number 1 begins with repetition. Spirit repeats until you pay attention. Numbers, words, dreams, even songs echo again and again because heaven wants you to know, this is the moment. Stay ready. Beloved, the first sign the universe gives before a blessing arrives is repetition. Spirit repeats until you pay attention. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Nothing ever happens without a sign." And the way Spirit ensures you notice is by echoing the same message again and again until it breaks through your doubt. Have you ever seen the same number everywhere you go? 11:11 on the clock, on the receipt, on a passing car. Or perhaps you hear the same phrase spoken in different places, like a divine echo chasing you through the day. Maybe you dream the same image more than once, and then find it showing up in the physical world. Beloved, that is not accident. That is alignment. Repetition is Spirit's highlighter, circling the message you are meant to receive. The reason this matters is because Spirit knows how quick the human mind is to dismiss truth. Doubt is loud. Fear is louder. But repetition silences them both. When the same sign shows up 3, 4, 5 times, your spirit cannot deny it. The law of expectancy is being activated in you. The universe is saying, stop questioning, believe. Your blessing is already moving toward you. And here is where you must listen carefully, beloved. When you see repetition, you must respond with decree. Do not just smile and move on. Anchor it in your spirit. Speak aloud, I recognize this sign. Spirit is speaking to me. My blessing is close, and I receive it under grace and in perfect ways. Every time you affirm, you magnify the energy of the sign. You align yourself more deeply with divine law. Beloved, repetition is like a drumbeat before the victory. It prepares your heart. It builds your faith. It shifts your focus from fear to expectancy. You may not see the blessing yet, but the sign keeps returning until you realize the truth. It is already yours. Florence Scovel Shinn reminded us that faith is not blind. It sees the invisible and hears the inaudible. Signs are heaven's way of helping you see before the eyes behold, of helping you hear before the ear receives. So when you notice repetition, rejoice. Do not doubt it. Do not call it coincidence. Declare it for what it is, confirmation. Think about it this way. A package on its way to you often comes with updates. First, order confirmed. Then, shipped. Then, out for delivery. Each update is repetitive, yet each one builds expectation. Beloved, Spirit works the same way. The repeated numbers, the repeated dreams, the repeated phrases, they are your out for delivery notice. They are proof that your manifestation is not lost, not delayed, but on its way. Now I tell you this for a reason, because YouTube itself is a signpost for many of you. If this message has found you today, it is not chance. Spirit led you here. Out of millions of videos, this one appeared before your eyes. That in itself is repetition, confirmation, that Spirit is speaking to you. Stay with this word, beloved, because your faith rising even now is proof that blessing is near. So the next time the number flashes, the phrase repeats, the dream returns, pause and decree. I see the sign. I hear the echo. My blessing is close. For Spirit repeats not to tease you but to prepare you, not to confuse you but to confirm you. And when you recognize repetition, you recognize heaven's announcement. Your manifestation is near. Beloved, the second sign that the universe is about to bless you is divine timing. Spirit never arrives too late, never arrives too early, but always in perfect order. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, Delays are not denials. They are divine adjustments. When your manifestation is close, you begin to notice the timing of events aligning in ways you could not have orchestrated yourself. Have you ever thought of someone and suddenly they call you? Have you ever walked into the right place at the exact moment an opportunity opened? Have you ever been delayed, only to discover that the delay led you straight into blessing? Beloved, that is not luck. It is divine timing. Spirit is arranging the details so that when your blessing arrives, you are in the perfect position to receive it. And here is where expectancy meets alignment. The closer your breakthrough comes, the more you will notice timing working for you. Meetings happen at the exact moment you need them. A door that was closed suddenly swings open at the right hour. What looked like a setback is revealed as a setup. The rhythm of heaven begins to surround you, guiding your every step. Beloved, this is why patience is holy. When you are impatient, you try to force the door. But when you trust divine timing, you let Spirit open it in perfect order. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that man's extremity is God's opportunity. Just when you think time has run out, heaven reminds you that it is never late, only precise. Now listen closely, because this is where many lose their blessing. They misinterpret delays as rejection. But delays are evidence that Spirit is moving pieces you cannot see. Perhaps the person who must help you is not yet ready. Perhaps the opportunity must mature before it appears. Perhaps your own faith needs one more stretch before it can hold the blessing. Divine timing protects you from receiving too soon. Beloved, here is the secret. When timing begins to align, you will feel it. Doors that were once heavy begin to open with ease. Phone calls come at the right moment. Money arrives just in time. What once felt like coincidence now feels orchestrated. That is heaven whispering, your blessing is near. And do you know why you found this video today? Because YouTube itself is one of Spirit's tools. This message appeared in your feed at this very moment because divine timing placed it there. Out of all the videos you could have scrolled past, this one stopped before your eyes. That is not accident. It is Spirit confirming. This word is for you. Your blessing is on schedule. So what must you do when you notice divine timing? You must surrender. Stop worrying about when. Stop asking, how long will it take? Instead, decree, I trust Spirit's perfect order. My blessing will arrive exactly when I am ready to receive it. It cannot be late. It cannot be lost. It cannot be denied. Every time you speak this, you align yourself more deeply with the rhythm of heaven. Beloved, divine timing is the guarantee that nothing meant for you will ever pass you by. If the door is closed today, it is only because Spirit is preparing a better one tomorrow. If the opportunity slipped away, it is only because the true opportunity is still on its way. Spirit is never hurried, never anxious, never uncertain. And when you trust this, you live in peace. So the next time something aligns perfectly, pause and whisper, this is my sign. Spirit is arranging the details. My blessing is near. And when a delay comes, do not despair. Declare, this too is divine timing. Spirit is protecting and preparing me for something greater. Beloved, remember this divine timing is not man's timing. It is higher, it is wiser, it is flawless. And when you begin to notice its patterns in your life, you can be certain the universe is about to bless you. Beloved, the third sign the universe is about to bless you is inner peace. Before manifestation arrives, Spirit calms the storm within. You may have struggled with worry, with fear, with endless questions, but then suddenly you feel quiet. A deep stillness settles in your soul. And though nothing in the outer world has changed, you know inside that something is different. That stillness is not natural. It is supernatural. It is the peace of Spirit announcing that your blessing is near. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, faith knows it has already received. When faith rises to its full height, anxiety falls away. You no longer beg, you no longer chase, you no longer panic. Instead, you rest. This rest is not laziness. It is certainty. It is the inner knowing that what you asked for is already yours. Peace is heaven's receipt, proof that the transaction is complete in the unseen, even before it arrives in the seen. Beloved, think of the farmer who plants seed. He does not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. He waters, he waits, and he rests. The peace he feels is trust in the law of harvest. And so it is with you. When your blessing is close, Spirit places peace in your heart, so you will not sabotage your own manifestation with worry. Have you noticed this shift in yourself? Where once you were restless, now you are calm. Where once you doubted, now you believe. Where once you prayed with desperation, now you give thanks with quiet joy. Beloved, that is not accident. That is the Spirit within you confirming, it is already done. Your blessing is near. And notice this, YouTube itself may be one of the ways Spirit speaks peace to you. Out of all the noise online, this message found you. That is no accident. You pressed play at this exact moment because Spirit wanted you to hear these words, be still, trust. Your manifestation is close. Beloved, inner peace before breakthrough is a law. Just before the dawn, the night is still. Just before the harvest, the field is quiet. Just before the birth, the womb is calm. Spirit follows the same pattern in your life. The blessing cannot enter a stormy heart. So when Spirit is about to deliver, peace is the final preparation. Now listen closely, because this is where many miss their miracle. They mistake peace for emptiness. They think nothing is happening because the struggle has stopped. But beloved, when the struggle stops, it means heaven has already taken over. The silence is not absence, it is confirmation. The battle is no longer yours, for Spirit has already secured the victory. So what must you do when you feel this peace? You must anchor it. Declare aloud, I receive this peace as proof of my blessing. I will not worry. I will not fear. I will not doubt. My manifestation is already mine, and I walk in gratitude now. This decree keeps the peace steady, even when your outer world tries to shake you. Beloved, peace is the final sign. Numbers may flash, timing may align, but peace is heaven's seal. It is the Spirit's way of saying, rest, beloved. You do not need to chase. You only need to receive. And when you recognize this peace, you can be sure. The blessing is not far. It is standing at the door, ready to enter. So the next time you feel stillness where there used to be fear, rejoice. The next time gratitude flows where anxiety once ruled, give thanks. Whisper to yourself, this is my sign. Spirit has settled my soul because my blessing is near. For the truth cannot be denied, beloved. When peace fills your spirit, it is heaven's way of saying, the breakthrough you prayed for is closer than you think. Beloved, you have now heard the 3 unmistakable signs that the universe is about to bless you: repetition, divine timing, and inner peace. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Spirit is never silent, never absent, never uncertain. When blessing is near, heaven announces it through signs, so you will not doubt, so you will not fear, so you will not miss your moment. Now let us seal this truth with decree. Place your hand upon your heart and speak with authority. I recognize the signs Spirit has placed in my path. I do not call them coincidence. I call them confirmation. The repeating numbers, the divine timing, the inner peace. These are my evidence that blessing is near. Say it again, louder this time. I am aligned with divine law. I receive my blessing under grace and in perfect ways. No fear can delay it, no doubt can block it, no force can steal it. I rest in faith, I live in gratitude, and I welcome my manifestation now. Beloved, when you decree this daily, you make your spirit magnetic. Heaven responds to faith-filled words, and what is already prepared for you begins to move swiftly into form. So remember, when you see the repetition, when timing aligns, when peace fills your heart, do not ignore it. Declare, decree, and give thanks. For the truth is sure the universe is about to bless you, and nothing can stop what Spirit has already ordained. And so it is.
Let us begin by recognizing the infinite abundance that already surrounds us, even before we see it with our physical eyes. October opens its golden gates, a month where harvest is not just of fields and fruits, but of the unseen seeds planted in thought, in word, and in the quiet expectancy of the heart. The atmosphere shifts, and the universe whispers large sums between our coming. This is not a promise of struggle. It is not a message of toil. It is the natural outpouring of divine substance, moving into form, manifesting itself in ways both expected and miraculous. When we hear large sums, let us not think only of coins or paper, but of every form of increase. Prosperity in finances, yes, but also in friendships, in opportunities, in health, in love. For the law of increase knows no limitation. It is impartial, it is exact, and it responds instantly to the words spoken with faith. October is the bridge between the green abundance of summer and the quiet rest of winter. And in this bridge, hidden treasures flow. Many look at the falling leaves and see only an ending, but the awakened soul knows the truth. The leaves fall to make way for richer soil, deeper roots, and a greater harvest. So it is with us. What may appear as loss is but preparation for larger sums that are on their way, moving in the unseen currents of divine order. When we say, large sums between are coming, we affirm that our good cannot be delayed, denied, or diminished. The supply is already in place. The unseen warehouse of spirit is bursting with all that is ours by right of consciousness. It comes through channels visible and invisible. It comes through ideas that flash like lightning, through doors that swing open, through people we did not expect, through circumstances arranged with mathematical precision. We need only to declare it, accept it, and prepare room to receive it. October asks us, are you ready? Have you cleared the clutter of doubt? Have you swept aside the shadows of fear? For where doubt resides, there is no room for the new sums that press to come forth. Large sums cannot be housed in a vessel too small, too filled with yesterday's worries. Let us expand, let us stretch the imagination. Let us dare to believe in sudden, glorious increase. The law is simple: what you prepare for, you draw in. Prepare for large sums and large sums appear. Speak it in the morning. October brings large sums between. Speak it at night. My good is flowing to me now in perfect ways. Speak it when appearances deny it, for appearances are but passing phantoms, and the truth is eternal substance. October is not a waiting room, it is a delivery room. Something is being born. Large sums are not far away, they are between the seen and unseen, between thought and manifestation, between word and world. They are already on the way, carried on currents of spirit, seeking the open heart, the expectant soul, the mind that dares to affirms. This is my month of increase, and nothing can stop it. October is a season of unseen harvest and divine increase. To understand this, one must first step away from the narrow view that harvest belongs only to farmers' fields, or the cycles of nature that yield fruit and grain. Harvest is a spiritual law, as constant as the rising sun, and it moves through every life, through every thought, and through every word spoken with belief. The month of October carries a vibration of completion and fulfillment. The air turns crisp, the days shorten, and the natural world reveals a deeper rhythms. What was once unseen beneath the soil now comes forth, ready to be gathered. Just as the earth answers the seasons, the human spirit answers divine timing. What is reaped is always born of what has been sown. Even if the sowing happened long ago, in moments that seemed small, in whispers of intention, in choices made almost unconsciously. When we call October a season of unseen harvest, it reminds us that the richest fruits do not always appear in obvious places. The unseen harvest is the unfolding of prayers long spoken, the arrival of answers that have traveled invisibly, the increase that begins in the invisible realms before stepping into the visible. Faith teaches us that the unseen is often the most real, for all form begins as formless substance. Just as a seed germinates beneath the soil where no eye can follow, so too do the seeds of thought, affirmations, and inner conviction sprout in silence, hidden from the surface view, until the perfect season brings them forth in manifestation. October announces that this is the season when unseen efforts, unseen prayers, unseen alignments, and unseen preparations reveal themselves in the tangible world. Divine increase operates under law, and law cannot be broken. The earth never fails to turn on its axis, the tides never fail to answer the pull of the moon, and so it is with the law of harvest. What one has sown in consciousness, whether of faith, expectancy, generosity, or praise, must return multiplied. October serves as the reminder that this law is at work, and the returns may not always come from the same place where the seeds were sown. A kind word offered in the past may return as unexpected financial blessing. A moment of forgiveness may come back as a new door opened in career or opportunity. The unseen harvest is not bound by the rules of human logic, for divine increase flows through infinite channels. October becomes the month where doors open seemingly of their own accord, where long blocked paths are suddenly clear, and where the heart feels the vibration of more before the eyes can see it. When we speak of divine increase, it is not to say that October suddenly invents abundance, for abundance is eternal and ever-present. Divine increase is the movement of that eternal substance into visible, usable, practical form. It is not the creation of something new, but the unveiling of what was already stored, waiting for the right alignment to be revealed. Increase is the nature of spirit. Life multiplies, expands, and overflows, just as the harvest of one seed of corn becomes hundreds of kernels. The law of increase assures us that one right thought held in faith produces more than its measure. One right word spoken in conviction returns with multiplied force. One act of gratitude unlocks a river of more to be grateful for. October is the season when this multiplication quickens, when the unseen harvest ripens, and when divine increase presses to reveal itself. To live in harmony with this truth, one must cultivate expectancy. Expectancy is the open hand, the prepared storehouse, the vessel that knows without question that what was planted will come forth. Too often the unseen harvest is delayed, because the soil of thought is hardened with doubt, with fear, with the belief that supply is limited or controlled by circumstances. But October teaches that circumstances are not the cause, they are only the result. Divine increase does not ask permission from appearances. It flows through them, around them, and beyond them. The unseen harvest is never hindered by what the eyes can see, because it is rooted in a law greater than appearances. Consider how nature itself models this truth. The tree does not worry whether the season will bring its fruit. It stands rooted, it draws nourishment, it trusts the unseen processes within its branches and leaves. And when the time comes, the fruit appears effortlessly, without strain. In the same way, October calls each soul to trust the unseen processes already at work, to know that divine increase has been silently preparing, arranging, multiplying in ways beyond imagination. The fruit will appear because it must, not because one strives to make it appear, but because law guarantees the return of what has been sown. The unseen harvest also teaches patience. Seeds are never planted and harvested in the same breath. There is always a season of waiting, of unseen growth, of silent expansion beneath the surface. Many lose faith in this waiting season, believing that nothing is happening. Yet October reveals that much has been happening all along, hidden from the surface view, preparing for the sudden moment of manifestation. This suddenness is not random. It is the flowering of unseen labor, unseen faith, unseen order that has been building quietly, ready to reveal itself when the soil and the season align. Divine increase often arrives like a surprise, but it is never an accident. It is the natural outworking of the unseen harvest finally stepping into sight. October, then, is more than a month in the calendar. It is a symbol, a reminder that every cycle of life carries a season of manifestation, a season of gathering, a season when what was invisible becomes visible. To call it a season of unseen harvest and divine increase is to affirm that what has been prepared in silence is ready to show itself in substance. It is to recognize that abundance is not approaching from the outside, but is emerging from the inside, flowering into form, flowing through the channels of life as surely as the rivers flow to the sea. Divine increase is the natural birthright of every soul, and October whispers the eternal truth: what you have planted, believed, and affirmed in faith cannot remain unseen forever. It must come forth. For this is the season where the unseen harvest reveals its abundance and divine increase becomes visible in ways that exceed all expectation. Large sums signify abundance in every form, not only money. When one hears the phrase, large sums, the natural tendency of the human mind is to imagine stacks of coins, notes, or material wealth placed in the hands. Yet to limit the meaning of large sums to money alone is to misunderstand the vastness of abundance and the infinite ways in which it reveals itself. Large sums represent the overflowing of life itself, the multiplication of blessings, the increase of all things that bring joy, freedom, and fulfillment. To confine them to money is to confine spirit, and spirit cannot be confined. Large sums can be measures of time gifted back to you. When opportunities align so perfectly that what would have taken years is accomplished in days. They can be the sudden restoration of health, vitality flowing in the body where there was once fatigue or dis-ease. They can be the unexpected gift of friendship, connection, or love appearing just when the heart was ready to receive. Abundance manifests in infinite channels, and large sums describe the volume, the weight, the magnitude of the good that arrives. It is the reminder that good does not trickle in small amounts, it flows in rich, generous supply. Overwhelming the old belief in lack, overturning the thought of limitation, and proving that the universe deals not in pennies but in plenty. When one expects large sums, one must also prepare to see them in forms that stretch the imagination. The soul that prays for money may receive instead a door opening into a career that brings more than wealth. It brings joy, purpose, and fulfillment. The one who longs for financial supply may suddenly be released from debts, contracts, or obligations, finding freedom rather than mere accumulation. These two are large sums, for freedom is abundance, joy is abundance, and peace is abundance. The essence of large sums is not the number written on a check, but the overflowing presence of divine good that satisfies every need and enlarges every horizon. The universe does not measure abundance in currency alone, it measures it in wholeness. One can be rich in money yet poor in peace, and such a state is not abundance. But when large sums come as wholeness, they cover every area of life, leaving no corner of existence untouched. They bring balance where imbalance once ruled, harmony where conflict once lingered, beauty where barrenness once stood. The abundance of spirit is complete, and large sums are the expression of this completeness. They remind us that no part of life is meant to be starved or lacking, for spirit does not distribute wealth in fragments, but in fullness. To recognize large sums in every form, one must cultivate the vision to see beyond appearances. A new opportunity may seem small at first, but hidden within it is a large sum of growth, experience, and expansion. A simple introduction to another person may unfold into a network of support, friendship, and partnership that changes the course of a lifetime. The large sum is often concealed within the ordinary, waiting for the eye of faith to call it what it truly is. When we declare that large sums are coming, we declare that the universe is pouring into our lives not in drops but in waves, not in fractions but in fullness, not in scarcity but in unmeasured plenty. Large sums also remind us of the law of multiplication. In nature, a single seed does not return a single seed. It returns a harvest multiplied many times over. Likewise, every right thought, every act of kindness, every affirmation of truth is a seed planted in consciousness that must return in multiplied form. The multiplication is the large sum, the divine mathematics that expands beyond human calculation. When money is given, it returns as more than money. It may return as protection, as health, as opportunity. When time is given, it returns as ease, as alignment, as doors that open at the perfect moment. The law of multiplication ensures that nothing given in faith ever returns in the same measure. It comes back pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Abundance in every form means that large sums often arrive in ways that cannot be counted or carried in the hand, but must be felt in the heart. The peace that settles after a season of turmoil is a large sum. The sudden clarity of mind that reveals the next step is a large sum. The presence of beauty, sunlight streaming through leaves, a melody that awakens joy, the laughter of a loved one. These too are sums of abundance, for they enrich the soul and lift the spirit. The universe is always giving in large sums, but it is the consciousness of the receiver that determines whether the gift is recognized or overlooked. To affirm that large sums are not only money is to free oneself from the narrow bondage of material thinking. Money is but one channel, one form. one symbol of supply. True abundance is source itself, and source is infinite. Large sums in health can restore years of life. Large sums in creativity can birth inventions, art, and solutions that change the course of communities. Large sums in wisdom can solve problems that money could never touch. To recognize these is to walk in the awareness that divine increase is unlimited in expression. Large sums also reveal the generosity of the universe. If life were stingy, it would give only enough to scrape by, but life overflows. Rivers do not trickle with a drop. They surge with waters that carve valleys and nourish fields. Trees do not produce a single leaf, they grow forests dense with shade and beauty. Stars do not appear one by one, they flood the sky in uncountable clusters. Everywhere in creation the pattern is clear: large sums, multiplied, overflowing. This is the pattern that applies to every soul, for humanity is not separate from creation but part of it. To live expecting only small measures is to deny the pattern written in the very fabric of existence. Large sums signify a change in consciousness. The mind that once believed in smallness begins to believe in expansion. The heart that once expected only enough begins to expect overflow. The life that once counted only money as wealth begins to see wealth in health, in joy, in freedom, in opportunity. This change in vision opens the door wider, for the universe always answers the level of expectancy. To expect little is to prepare only for little. But to expect large sums in every form is to align with the divine law of increase that has no limit. To walk in the awareness of large sums is to walk with gratitude before the evidence arrives. Gratitude multiplies what is present and calls forth what is unseen. To give thanks for health, even in the smallest measure, is to invite the large sum of vitality. To give thanks for love, even in a single act of kindness, is to invite the large sum of overflowing relationships. Gratitude recognizes abundance in seed form, and thereby prepares for its harvest in multiplied form. Large sums are not a matter of chance. They are the natural outworking of gratitude, faith, and the recognition of Spirit's generosity. Thus, when one affirms that large sums signify abundance in every form, it is an affirmation of freedom, of wholeness, of limitless possibility. It is a declaration that life does not deal in fragments but in fullness, not in scarcity but in supply, not in confinement but in expansion. Large sums are the natural language of spirit, and they express themselves in health, in peace, in joy, in love, in opportunity, in creativity, and yes, in financial provision, but never in money alone. They come in the measure of abundance itself, and abundance has no boundaries, no limits, no lack. What appears as loss is preparation for greater gain. To the surface mind, loss often seems final, as though something valuable has been taken away, leaving behind emptiness or lack. Yet in the higher order of life, loss is rarely loss at all. It is transition, movement, and rearrangement, clearing away what no longer serves in order to make space for what is greater. When leaves fall from the trees in autumn, one might call it loss, but it is not so. The falling leaves enrich the soil, nourish the roots, and prepare the tree for the strength it will need in the coming spring. The tree is not diminished, it is being readied. In the same way, what appears as loss in human experience is often the invisible hand of divine order making room for increase, ensuring that the greater harvest can find its place. The principle behind this truth is simple: there is no vacuum in spirit. Where something is removed, something else must take its place. If one has lost a position, an opportunity, or a possession, it is because that space is needed for something more fitting, more expansive, more aligned with the soul's growth. The universe never subtracts without multiplying, never diminishes without preparing to restore in greater measure. The apparent loss is a signpost, signaling that one chapter is closing so that another can begin. To cling desperately to what has been removed is to resist the law of circulation. But to release it in trust is to open the hands wide for the greater gift that is already prepared. Many people misinterpret loss as punishment or misfortune, but in truth, it is often the greatest blessing concealed in disguise. A relationship may dissolve, and in the pain of its departure one may feel abandoned or betrayed. Yet that very ending creates space for a deeper love, a truer partnership, or the freedom needed for self-discovery. A career may collapse, a job may be taken away. And though the immediate reaction is fear of scarcity, the space opened becomes the soil for new opportunities, new paths, and creative ventures that would never have emerged without the loss of the old. In every case, what appears as loss is but the pruning of the vine, ensuring that the fruit to come will be richer, sweeter, and more abundant. The idea of preparation is vital, for preparation is the unseen foundation of manifestation. If one desires to receive large sums, greater blessings, or new opportunities, there must be room for them to land. A cup already filled cannot receive more until it is emptied. Loss, then, becomes a divine emptying. It is the universe saying, "Prepare, for something greater is ready to flow." The human heart may grieve the emptying, for it is natural to feel the sting of release, but faith looks beyond appearances and understands that nothing truly good is ever taken away. What departs is always the shadow of what is meant to come, the lesser form that must step aside, so the greater form can take its place. Consider the soil that must be broken before the seed can grow. To the soil, the plow feels like destruction, cutting deep furrows and turning everything upside down. Yet without that disruption, the seed could never be planted, and without planting, there could never be harvest. So it is with loss. It may feel like something has been torn open, but in truth, it is the furrow that makes space for new life. The pain of the process is but the preparation for the joy of increase. The field is not ruined by the plow, it is made fertile. The life is not ruined by loss, it is made ready. To those who walk by sight alone, loss appears cruel. But to those who walk by faith, loss is recognized as part of a higher order. Faith knows that the divine plan is never to diminish, but always to enlarge, never to wound, but always to heal, never to strip away without also clothing in greater abundance. When one door closes, another must open, and often the door that shuts is the very one that has kept the soul from stepping into its true inheritance. The closed door is not an ending, but a redirection, steering the traveler to the greater path that was waiting all along. It is also important to see that loss teaches detachment. When one clings too tightly to possessions, people, or circumstances, the flow of life becomes blocked. Loss gently or forcefully reminds the soul that nothing in form is permanent, and that true security rests not in things but in source. By loosening attachment to the outer, the inner connection with divine supply grows stronger, and through that connection the greater gain arrives. What appeared to be loss has in truth removed the false foundation, so that a solid one can be laid. This is why so many can look back upon seasons of loss and declare that those very moments were the beginning of their greatest growth. Loss also reveals hidden strength. In the absence of the familiar, one discovers resilience, creativity, and capacity that were dormant before. The void left by what has gone calls forth inner resources that might otherwise have remained unused. What appears as loss becomes the crucible in which new strength is forged, and that strength itself becomes a form of gain greater than what was lost. To lose comfort is to gain courage, to lose certainty is to gain faith, to lose dependence is to gain freedom. The gain is greater because it touches the soul and not merely the surface. In the cycles of nature, loss is always temporary, always purposeful. The caterpillar dissolves into nothingness within its cocoon, a total loss of form, and yet out of that loss comes the butterfly, radiant and free. The seed loses its shape, bursts open, and disappears into the soil, yet out of that breaking comes the tree. In the same way, human life mirrors these cycles. Loss may feel like dissolution, like something has ended beyond repair. But within the process is hidden the transformation, the emergence of something more beautiful, more expansive, more aligned with the soul's purpose. To understand that what appears as loss is preparation for greater gain is to walk in peace even amid endings. It is to trust that the universe is always working toward increase, always moving toward expansion, always preparing something richer than what was before. It is to see endings not as death but as transitions, not as destruction but as rearrangement, not as punishment but as the careful clearing of ground. The greater gain is already in motion the moment the loss appears, and the soul that holds faith will one day see that nothing was ever truly lost, only transformed into something far greater. Faith and expectancy clear the way for manifestation. When the mind is heavy with doubt, fear, or the memory of past disappointments, it creates a wall that blocks the natural flow of supply. Yet when faith is present, that wall dissolves. Faith is the unseen assurance that good is already here, moving toward expression, ready to appear in tangible form. Expectancy is the outstretched hand, the open vessel prepared to receive. Together, faith and expectancy create the clear channel through which manifestation flows. For spirit cannot pour abundance into a heart that is closed with disbelief, but it rushes eagerly into the one that believes without hesitation. Faith is more than passive belief, it is active certainty, a deep inner knowing that refuses to be shaken by appearances. Appearances may show lack, emptiness, or delay, but faith declares that these are temporary shadows and not the truth of reality. Faith looks beyond the surface, beyond the evidence of the senses, and anchors itself in the eternal law of abundance. It holds fast to the conviction that good is already present, even if unseen, and that every need is already supplied in the invisible before it is visible. In this way, faith keeps the channel clear, preventing fear or despair from obstructing the flow of manifestation. Expectancy is the companion of faith, for to believe without expecting is to hold a truth without preparing for its arrival. Expectancy sets the stage, makes the room ready, creates the opening through which good can appear. It is the attitude of one who does not wonder if supply will come but knows it is coming, and prepares joyfully to receive it. Expectancy is the mother preparing the nursery before the child arrives, not questioning whether the birth will happen, but acting in confident assurance that it is already underway. Expectancy is the farmer clearing barns before harvest, not asking whether the crops will grow, but knowing they are already ripening in the field. This readiness clears the way for manifestation, because the universe always fills the place that is prepared for it. Faith without expectancy may affirm truth but fail to receive it, for there is no opening created. Expectancy without faith may prepare, but without inner conviction the preparation will collapse under doubt. When both are joined, the path is made smooth, the way is opened, and manifestation becomes inevitable. Faith says, "It is so," and expectancy says, "I am ready for it now." Together, they align thought, word, and action with the divine law of supply, and the unseen becomes seen. The act of expectancy changes the atmosphere of the mind. A person expecting increase carries a lightness, a confidence, a readiness that radiates. This inner state draws conditions, people, and opportunities into alignment, for the universe responds to the energy one projects. When expectancy is alive, every step feels purposeful. Every encounter holds possibility, and every day carries the sense of something about to unfold. This vibration itself is magnetic, attracting manifestation in ways the doubting mind could never calculate. Faith and expectancy also remove the clutter of fear. Fear imagines obstacles, delays, and disappointments, creating a clouded vision that prevents one from recognizing opportunities, even when they appear. Expectancy clears that cloud, allowing the eyes to see with clarity, to recognize open doors, to step into alignment with confidence. Faith ensures that even when the door looks closed, it is not mistaken for finality, for faith knows that doors open by law, not by chance. Thus, faith keeps hope alive, expectancy keeps the vessel open, and manifestation flows naturally as the next step in divine order. To understand how faith clears the way, one must see that doubt is a form of resistance. It is as though one hand is reaching out to receive, while the other pushes the gift away. This divided state blocks manifestation. But when faith fills the whole being, there is no division, no resistance, only openness. This openness allows supply to move swiftly, unhindered by inner conflict. Expectancy strengthens this openness by preparing outwardly for what is believed inwardly. For example, the one expecting opportunity polishes their skills, organizes their affairs, and makes space in their schedule because they know the opening will come. The one expecting financial increase clears debts, sets intentions for its use, and makes plans, not out of wishful thinking but out of certainty. These preparations are signals to the universe that the way is clear and the vessel is ready. Faith and expectancy also work by aligning one's words with one's belief. Words of complaint, worry, or fear contradict the silent affirmation of faith and block the channel. But words of confidence, gratitude, and anticipation magnify the inner conviction and strengthen expectancy. To say daily, "I am ready for the good that belongs to me," is not empty repetition, it is the conscious shaping of thought into form, the clearing away of mental clutter that would otherwise create delay. The spoken word charged with faith carries power, for it declares into the unseen and calls forth the seen. Manifestation is never about forcing or striving, it is about allowing. Faith and expectancy create this allowance. They do not push or demand but open and invite. The anxious mind tries to control how supply should come, through whom, or in what form. But faith surrenders the how and holds only to the certainty that it will come in perfect ways. Expectancy does not dictate the channel, it simply keeps the vessel open for any channel to pour through. This openness ensures that manifestation can appear in ways far beyond the limited plans of the human mind. In every story of increase, faith and expectancy are present. The patient who recovers does so not only by medicine, but by faith in health and expectancy of healing. The entrepreneur who succeeds does so not only by strategy, but by faith in their vision and expectancy of opportunity. The artist who creates does so not only by skill, but by faith in inspiration and expectancy of expression. These unseen forces shape the visible outcome, for manifestation is always born in consciousness before it appears in form. To live with faith and expectancy is to walk daily in the energy of preparation. It is to rise in the morning with the inner declaration that good is on its way, and to carry oneself through the day with the awareness that manifestation may appear at any moment. It is to act as though the harvest is already ripe, as though the door is already swinging open, as though the gift is already in hand. This state of being magnetizes supply, for the universe delights in filling the vessel that is empty yet ready, in answering the heart that believes yet waits in joyful expectation. Faith and expectancy are the invisible architects of manifestation. They shape the unseen, clear the space, prepare the ground, and open the channels. Without them, the flow of good is hindered, delayed, or overlooked. With them, the flow is natural, immediate, and abundant, because spirit rushes eagerly into every prepared space. The clearer the faith, the stronger the expectancy, the swifter the manifestation. To hold them both is to live not in doubt or delay, but in readiness, in trust, and in the certainty that what is unseen is already moving into form. October is not a waiting room, but a delivery room. Too often people move through seasons of their lives imagining themselves to be in suspension, believing they are held in some undefined pause, where nothing is happening, nothing is moving, and nothing is being given. They tell themselves they must wait, that their desires are delayed, that manifestation is distant. Yet October does not carry the vibration of postponement. October is not the month of delay, it is the month of birth, where what has been gestating in the unseen finally presses forward into visibility. Just as the earth yields its harvest in this season, so too does the unseen work of spirit yield visible outcomes. It is not a time of merely waiting, it is a time of receiving, of delivering, of welcoming into form what has already been prepared in the invisible. A waiting room suggests stillness without progress, an indefinite holding space where time drags without change. But a delivery room is filled with expectancy, urgency, and the certainty that something new is arriving. In a delivery room, no one questions whether the birth will happen, they know it is happening, and the atmosphere is charged with preparation and anticipation. This is the quality of October. The unseen harvest has already been conceived, nurtured, and grown, and now it comes forth. What was once invisible becomes visible, what was once promised becomes present. what was once hoped for becomes tangible reality. The energy is not of passive waiting but of active emergence, the joyful knowing that the time of delivery has arrived. October holds within it the rhythm of culmination. The seeds planted in prior seasons, whether seeds of thought, word, or action, have been silently growing beneath the surface. To the outward eye, it may have appeared that nothing was happening. The soil seemed quiet, the fields empty, the prayers unanswered. Yet beneath the still surface, life was moving, roots were spreading, and increase was preparing itself in silence. October announces that the silent growth is over, and now the time has come to bring forth the fruit. It is the season where the invisible process reaches its appointed hour, and what once seemed like waiting is revealed as preparation. In a delivery room, there is effort, there is intensity, but there is no doubt about the outcome. The entire focus is on welcoming the new life that is emerging. This same intensity belongs to October. It is the month when spiritual labor produces visible fruit, when the dreams carried in the womb of consciousness find expression in form. The delays of the past are not denials, they were simply gestation, the necessary season for growth. October is the moment when gestation ends and manifestation begins. It is not an empty hallway but the doorway of arrival. To see October in this way shifts the entire perspective of the soul. Instead of saying, "I am waiting," one begins to say, "I am receiving." Instead of sighing with delay, one breathes with expectancy. The posture of the heart changes from passivity to readiness, from resignation to celebration. Just as a mother prepares for the child long before the birth, setting aside clothing, arranging space, and making plans, so too must the soul prepare for its harvest in October. For in a delivery room, the question is never if, but always when, and the when is now. This perspective also teaches that apparent endings are not closures but births. The falling leaves of October do not signify death. They signify the release that makes way for new life. The ending of one chapter is the birth of another. The closing of one door is the delivery of a new path. The soul that mistakes these shifts as endings falls into despair, but the soul that recognizes them as birth steps into joy. October, as a delivery room, reminds us that every seeming loss, every closing, every transition is in truth the prelude to manifestation. Nothing is being taken away, everything is being delivered in a higher, richer, fuller form. In a delivery room, timing is sacred. One cannot rush the birth, nor can one halt it once it has begun. The process unfolds in divine order, and the new life emerges at the precise moment it is ready. October operates under the same law. The blessings arriving in this season come not too early, not too late, but exactly on time. Though the mind may have longed for them sooner, they arrive at the perfect moment. When the vessel is ready to receive, when the soil is fertile, when the environment can support growth. Faith trusts this timing. Expectancy prepares for it, and together they welcome the manifestation that has been ordained. October is also a reminder that manifestation is not distant, it is immediate. The harvest does not belong to some far-off season, it belongs here and now. The prayers that were spoken, the affirmations declared, the visions held, have been forming in the unseen, and are ready to step into sight. Just as a delivery room brings forth life into the visible world, so too does this season bring forth the invisible good into visible form. It is the transition point between spirit and matter, between promise and fulfillment, between hope and reality. There is urgency in a delivery room, but it is not anxiety. It is the urgency of readiness, the acknowledgement that the time has come, that no further delay is necessary. October carries this urgency. It whispers to the soul that the time of waiting is over, that the time of delivery has begun. It calls for preparation, for clearing space, for making room in consciousness and in life for what is arriving. Just as a mother makes space in her arms for the newborn, so too must the soul make space in thought and environment for the blessings now pressing to appear. The metaphor of October as a delivery room also teaches the necessity of cooperation. In birth, one works with the process, not against it. Resistance only increases struggle, but surrender and cooperation bring the flow of life into manifestation. In the same way, October asks for surrender to divine order. It asks the soul to release control, to cease clinging to old patterns, and to allow the natural process of manifestation to unfold. The greater good is already in motion, and cooperation clears the way for its swift appearance. To live October as a delivery room is to walk in constant expectation of newness. Each day carries the potential of birth, each moment the possibility of arrival. It is to hold the awareness that something is always being delivered, that manifestation is not a distant event, but an ongoing unfolding. It is to know that the unseen work of spirit is always pressing into visibility, and October is the symbol of that emergence, the reminder that life is not about indefinite waiting, but about continual receiving. In this way, October teaches the eternal truth that life is not static. Nothing is held in suspension forever. What has been planted must grow. What has been nourished must bloom. What has been conceived must be born. The waiting room is an illusion created by doubt and fear, but the delivery room is the reality of divine law. October reveals this reality, showing that manifestation is already in motion, that birth is inevitable, that delivery is at hand. There is a law, unseen yet unfailing, which governs the flow of riches. To those who walk in harmony with it, wealth comes as naturally as the tide returns to the shore. Prosperity is not the result of chance, nor of mere effort. It is born of thought, of word, of conviction repeated until the unseen substance of spirit crystallizes into the gold and opportunity of this world. Every fortune that endures was first spoken into form. Every treasure was once an idea, whispered by the soul and confirmed by the lips. The mind is the workshop of abundance, and the tongue is its master craftsman. The wealthy do not merely work with their hands. They work with their words, shaping their destinies by declaring the truth of plenty before it appears. The daily affirmation is not idle speech, nor a wish cast into the air. It is the decree of one who knows that the universe responds to certainty. Wealthy men and women rise in the morning and command their world. They claim success, they affirm increase, they expect the best. They do not plead for riches, they align themselves with riches. For begging repels supply, but confident declaration draws it forth. Life is a mirror. What is held in consciousness is reflected in circumstance. When the lips speak words of abundance, the heart believes them, and the outer world hastens to obey. Poverty cannot cling to the one who declares daily, "I am rich in mind, therefore rich in life. The substance of spirit is my inexhaustible source." Such affirmations dissolve fear, sweep away doubt, and set the law of prosperity into motion. Every wealthy person, known or unknown, repeats some form of this truth. It may be spoken silently in thought, uttered aloud in the quiet hours, or written upon paper and carried close to the heart. But always, there is an affirmation, steady as the beat of the clock, proclaiming that wealth is theirs by divine right. The poor may toil endlessly, thinking labor alone will bring freedom. Yet without the affirmation of plenty, they bind themselves to scarcity. The wealthy, even when work is required, labor under a different law. They know that effort is only the channel, never the source. Their true source is infinite, unbound, eternal. Each affirmation reminds them of this, and wealth comes not as struggle, but as overflow. To repeat a daily affirmation is to plant a seed in the soil of the mind. With each repetition, the roots grow deeper, the stem stronger, until the harvest of prosperity must appear. Wealthy people know this law and guard their words as treasures. They speak not of loss but of gain, not of lack but of abundance, not of fear but of certainty. Thus, the daily affirmation is the invisible foundation upon which visible riches stand. To repeat it faithfully is to enter the same stream of power that has carried every prosperous soul to their fortune. It is the golden key, always available, waiting only for the lips to claim. I am rich now, and all that is mine comes to me swiftly, surely, and without end. Wealth begins with spoken word. The seed of every fortune is planted in the soil of speech. Before there was coin in hand, before there was property to claim, Before the world knew the names of those it now calls prosperous, there was first the utterance of a word. The spoken word is the invisible brush that paints the canvas of reality, the unseen architect that drafts the mansion before stone or timber is laid. Words are the first currency, and they purchase the unseen long before the visible is obtained. Every declaration of abundance is a claim upon the vast treasury of spirit, and every denial of lack is a lock placed upon the doors of prosperity. Wealth does not fall suddenly from the skies, it is summoned. It answers to the sound of conviction spoken aloud, just as surely as an echo responds to the call of a voice across the valley. When one says, "I am prosperous," the universe bends to shape itself around that decree. When one proclaims, "Riches are mine now," unseen forces move to honor that command. This is not mere imagination, it is law. The spoken word is creative, and it does not return void. It carries within it the power of completion, the ability to draw substance from the invisible and press it into form. To the one who understands, speech is not idle chatter, but the very mechanism of creation. To speak wealth is to plant wealth, and to repeat it faithfully is to water the soil of consciousness until the harvest must appear. There is no wealth without the word. Even the most intricate enterprises, the grandest fortunes, and the mightiest industries began with a spoken intention. Someone once said, "Let us build," and so buildings rose. Someone once declared, "This shall prosper," and so prosperity followed. The rich know that every word is a seed, and they guard their speech as carefully as they guard their treasures. They do not speak of failure, for to do so would invite it. They do not dwell on loss, for to name loss is to magnify it. Instead, they speak only of abundance, of success, of gain, of steady increase. Their words are ladders, lifting them ever higher into the realms of plenty. To those who understand, there is no difference between speech and manifestation. They know that once the lips release a word in faith, creation has already begun. Wealth is spoken first in the still chambers of the heart, then carried forth by the tongue to set the outer world in motion. The wealthy are careful to repeat words of plenty daily, for they know that repetition engraves truth upon the subconscious, and the subconscious directs the entire course of life. They speak until they believe, and they believe until it becomes. This is why one wealthy in spirit can lose everything in the material world, yet rise again with even greater fortune. Their foundation was not in possessions but in words, and from that foundation they build anew. Poverty, too, begins with words. The one who constantly laments lack will surely see it multiply. The one who declares, "I can never get ahead," has spoken their own prophecy. The universe is impartial, it delivers according to the decree it hears. Words of lack create lack, words of doubt create delay. Words of fear construct barriers. Yet the law is the same for all, and when the poor turn their words from despair to plenty, from defeat to dominion, their fortunes shift. The tongue is both the jailer and the liberator. It binds with words of limitation, and it frees with words of power. The wealthy understand that speech must be aligned with vision. To say, "I am rich," while secretly doubting, is to sow in barren soil. But to speak with conviction, to declare with certainty, is to set into motion an unstoppable chain of events. The words themselves are infused with energy, vibrating through the ethers, gathering substance, attracting people, opportunities, and circumstances that align with the declaration. A spoken word of wealth is a magnet, pulling to itself all that corresponds to its nature. This is why the wealthy often seem favored by fortune. It is not chance, it is law. They spoke before they saw, and so they now see what they once spoke. In the earliest scriptures, in the oldest wisdom, it was declared that the world itself was spoken into being. "Let there be," preceded all creation. If creation itself responded to the word, how much more will individual life respond when it hears the decree of prosperity? The wealthy imitate this divine principle by speaking into existence that which they desire. They know that silence may hold thought, but only speech releases thought into the field of power. To remain silent is to hold potential, to speak is to unlock it. Every morning is a blank page, and the wealthy begin by writing upon it with their words. They affirm life, they affirm abundance, they affirm their right to success. Each word is a brushstroke painting the day ahead. If they speak of blessings, blessings arrive. If they proclaim increase, increase unfolds. Speech is not merely description but command, and the wealthy wield it as such. They do not wait for the world to dictate terms, they declare their own. The power of the word is not lessened by disbelief from others. The wealthy know that their speech is personal currency, valid in the vaults of the universe regardless of public opinion. One may be ridiculed for declaring riches while pockets are empty, but the ridicule of others cannot cancel the law. The decree stands, and in time the evidence must appear. The rich do not look for approval. They look for alignment with the law of speech. To speak wealth is to awaken wealth consciousness, and wealth consciousness cannot help but attract riches. Words are the doorway into this state of mind. Each repetition chisels away at doubt and shapes the mind into certainty. Once the mind is shaped, life itself reshapes. The outer is compelled to match the inner, and the inner is commanded by the spoken word. Thus, the wealthy rise not because they were born into fortune, but because they spoke themselves into fortune. Affirmation aligns thought with supply. The mind is a field of limitless potential, a garden where every seed of thought takes root and grows according to its nature. Yet without direction, the garden becomes overrun with weeds of doubt, fear, and limitation. Affirmation is the gardener's hand, steady and deliberate, guiding thought into order, aligning it with the infinite storehouse of supply. To affirm is not to wish, but to claim. It is the act of placing thought upon the rails of divine law, so that the train of life runs swiftly and surely toward prosperity. When one affirms abundance, thought no longer drifts aimlessly among worries and appearances. It is anchored, secured, aligned with the truth that all supply already exists in invisible form. Affirmation says to the mind, this is the truth, hold to it, walk in it, become it. Every wealthy person understands that thought is power, but that power must be aimed. Affirmation is the aim, the bowstring that sends thought flying straight toward its target. Without it, thought is scattered, wasted in anxiety and contradiction. With it, thought becomes magnetic, drawing unto itself all that matches its frequency. The supply of the universe is endless. There is no limit to riches, no ceiling upon opportunity, no boundary around abundance. Yet one may live in lack if thought is misaligned. The mind that affirms shortage will experience shortage. The lips that declare difficulty will walk among difficulties. The one who continually says, "It is hard to prosper," will find proof of their words. This is why affirmation is not empty ritual, it is the very alignment of thought with supply. By repeating words of plenty, the mind is trained to dwell in the reality of plenty, and life becomes the mirror of that dwelling. The wealthy know that the unseen always precedes the seen. Supply is first an idea, an essence, an energy. Affirmation fastens the mind upon this truth and prevents it from straying into the illusion of lack. When appearances suggest there is not enough, affirmation speaks louder. There is always more than enough. When outer conditions show delay, affirmation insists, "My supply is swift and certain." In this way, thought is kept in harmony with the unseen abundance that is forever waiting to pour into form. Every affirmation is a declaration of identity. To say, "I am wealthy," is not merely to describe a condition, but to affirm alignment with the identity of wealth itself. The subconscious accepts such declarations without argument, and once accepted, it begins to shape experience accordingly. This is the secret the wealthy guard. They affirm not what they see, but what they choose to align with. They do not affirm their doubts, they affirm their destiny. And destiny obeys the direction of affirmation. Consider the one who rises daily and declares, "I live in a universe of lavish abundance. All that I need and more flows to me with ease." This affirmation is not fantasy, it is alignment. It instructs thought to harmonize with the truth of endless supply. It trains the inner eye to see opportunity where others see obstruction. It tunes the ear to hear possibilities where others hear only denial. Affirmation bends thought upward, and thought bent upward opens the gates of increase. Without affirmation, thought is vulnerable to the noise of the world. Every voice of doubt, every echo of fear, every suggestion of limitation creeps into the unguarded mind and plants seeds of scarcity. But affirmation is the shield, the daily decree that rejects intrusion and keeps thoughts steady in the vibration of wealth. It is repetition that carves new pathways in the brain, and those pathways become highways for prosperity to travel. The wealthy repeat their affirmations not because they doubt, but because they know the mind must be trained, just as the body is trained. Discipline in affirmation is discipline in thought, and disciplined thought aligns with the inexhaustible supply of life. The law is exact: thought and supply are one. To affirm lack is to cut the cord to abundance. To affirm plenty is to open the channel wide. The wealthy affirm daily because they understand that the flow of supply is constant, but it requires a receptive vessel. Affirmation enlarges the vessel of thought, stretches the consciousness, makes room for more. The mind that affirms, "I receive with ease," becomes a larger container than the mind that frets, "I may not have enough." And the law fills every vessel to its capacity. When one aligns thought with supply, obstacles dissolve. What seemed like closed doors swing open. What appeared as difficulty becomes the very stepping stone to increase. Affirmation does not force the world to change. It changes the inner vision until the world must rearrange itself to match it. The wealthy know this. They speak their affirmations as calmly as they breathe, not begging, not demanding, but aligning. They know that alignment is power, and once aligned, supply cannot be withheld. The universe is impartial. It does not favor the rich over the poor, nor one soul above another. It simply answers to alignment. Affirmation is the act of tuning the dial to the frequency of abundance, and when the dial is set, the music of wealth begins to play. Those who affirm faithfully dwell in harmony with this music, and soon their lives dance to its rhythm. Affirmation is the daily practice of choosing truth over appearances. The wealthy practice it as one would practice an instrument, until their entire being resonates with the vibration of plenty. They do not waver, for they know that consistency builds momentum. A river carves valleys not by force but by constant flow, and affirmation works the same way upon the landscape of thought. Each repetition deepens the groove, until thought flows naturally into abundance, and supply follows thought unfailingly. Confidence attracts, doubt repels. The invisible currents of life move in harmony with the state of mind, and the state of mind is revealed by the tone of confidence or the weight of doubt. Confidence is a magnet, radiant and sure, drawing to itself people, opportunities, and resources that correspond to its certainty. Doubt is a shadow, heavy and dispersing, scattering possibilities before they take form, dissolving opportunities before they can arrive. The wealthy have learned that what one expects with confidence becomes, and what one entertains with doubt fades. Life is not swayed by hesitation, but it rushes to fulfill the firm decree of faith. Confidence speaks in the language of possession. It does not ask, "Will this be mine?" but declares, "This is mine now." In every transaction of wealth, whether seen or unseen, confidence is the currency that pays first. The one who is confident moves as though riches already belong to them, and the world responds accordingly. Doors open to the confident stride, while the hesitant linger outside. Those who doubt hesitate to knock, and hesitation leaves them waiting in corridors of delay. But the confident affirm their right to enter, and entry is granted. Every wealthy soul has walked the path of confidence long before the gold appeared in hand. They trusted the unseen law. They trusted the power of their word. They trusted that the flow of supply could not fail them. Their confidence aligned them with certainty, and certainty drew all provision near. Doubt would have delayed their journey, fear would have scattered their harvest, but confidence gathered it swiftly. For the universe loves the sound of a voice that knows. Doubt repels not because life is cruel, but because doubt is misalignment. To doubt is to send forth two opposing commands, one calling for increase, the other denying it. The law of abundance cannot operate under contradiction, just as a compass cannot point north and south at once. So the mind cannot attract wealth while doubting its arrival. The doubting word is like a seed dug up each day to see if it grows. It never has the chance to sprout. But confidence plants and leaves the seed to flourish, certain that the harvest is inevitable. Confidence is not arrogance, for arrogance seeks to prove, while confidence simply knows. Arrogance is brittle, easily broken by the winds of challenge, but confidence is steady, rooted in law. It does not waver with appearances, it does not falter at delay. It declares, "My supply is secure, even when the purse is empty." It proclaims, "All doors are open to me, even when no door seems in sight." And in time, appearances bow to the voice of confidence, for the unseen must shape itself around the one who knows. Every marketplace responds more swiftly to confidence than to talent, for talent hidden under doubt remains unseen, while confidence displays even the smallest gift as though it were treasure. Investors place their trust where confidence resides. Partners join forces where certainty shines. Customers gather where assurance radiates. Wealth flows toward confidence as rivers flow toward the sea. Doubt, on the other hand, scatters wealth as wind scatters leaves, for none wish to build upon a foundation that trembles. Confidence attracts not only opportunities but ideas. A confident mind is a receptive mind, open to inspiration, ready to act, eager to see possibility where others see impossibility. Doubt closes the gate of imagination, whispering that no path exists, no solution can be found, no chance is worth taking. But confidence keeps the gate wide, and through it flows invention, vision, strategy, and clarity. The wealthy hold their confidence not merely for show, but as a channel through which divine ideas can enter freely. Consider the one who walks into a room with doubt. Their shoulders slump, their voice falters, their eyes avoid meeting others. The atmosphere around them grows heavy, and even those present begin to withdraw, sensing uncertainty. Now consider the one who enters with confidence. Their step is sure, their words carry weight, their presence fills the space with expectancy. Immediately, others turn, listen, and respond. Nothing external changed between the two but the state of confidence within, and yet the entire outcome was transformed. Such is the magnetic law of confidence. Confidence is the soil in which affirmations take root. Without confidence, even the strongest words fall upon stony ground. To repeat, "I am wealthy," while secretly doubting is to plant seed in barren earth. But to speak it with confidence is to plant in fertile soil, where growth is swift and certain. This is why the wealthy guard their inner certainty as carefully as their treasures. They know that their riches flow first from the soil of belief, and belief must be strengthened daily by the practice of confidence. Confidence also dissolves resistance. Where doubt would shrink before obstacles, confidence presses through. Where doubt sees a wall, confidence finds a door. Where doubt turns back, confidence advances. Life favors the one who advances, for progress aligns with the forward movement of the universe. Confidence is movement, doubt is stagnation. Movement draws life, stagnation repels it. Thus, those who walk with confidence attract continual increase, while those who sit in doubt see opportunities pass them by. It is not circumstances that determine wealth, but the inner tone of expectation. Two may stand before the same opportunity, one doubting, one confident. The doubter hesitates, the moment slips and loss is confirmed. The confident seizes, moves, and multiplies. To the observer it appears that chance favored one and not the other, but chance was not the author. Confidence drew fortune near, while doubt repelled it. The law is simple, impartial, and unfailing. Confidence does not wait for proof, it creates proof. It acts as though abundance were already secure, and by that action abundance is secured. Doubt demands to see before it believes. But by the time it sees, the confident have already claimed the harvest. The wealthy understand that confidence is a bridge from the unseen to the seen. Without it, the bridge collapses and nothing crosses over. With it, wealth flows steadily into form. Labor is the channel, not the source. The great illusion of the world is that effort itself creates wealth, that toil alone brings prosperity. that endless hours of labor are the fountain from which abundance flows. Yet the wealthy know a different law, a higher law. They understand that labor is only the channel through which supply manifests, never the source of the supply itself. The source is infinite, unseen, inexhaustible, and eternal. Labor is but the vessel, the pipe, the means by which the invisible pours itself into visible form. Those who confuse the channel with the source wear themselves thin in ceaseless effort, yet their purses remain light. Those who align with the true source allow their labor to be guided, directed, and empowered, and thus they receive more in a day than others in a lifetime of toil. The fields do not produce harvest merely because men bend their backs beneath the sun. They yield because the invisible law of growth has been set in motion, and the labor of men is only cooperation with that law. A farmer may work endlessly upon barren ground and receive nothing, yet another may labor lightly in fertile soil and receive abundance. The difference is not in effort, but in alignment with the source. The wealthy know that prosperity is not the wage of toil, but the fruit of consciousness. Labor simply gives shape to what has already been provided. One may see countless men and women laboring with all their strength, yet never tasting wealth. Their effort is sincere, their sweat abundant, yet their lives remain burdened by lack. Why? Because they look to labor itself as the source. They believe that by working harder, longer, faster, they will finally be free. But work without alignment is a wheel that turns without moving forward. It expends energy but does not create progress. Labor as the channel becomes fruitful when one first connects with the source through thought, affirmation, and confidence. Then each task, no matter how small, becomes charged with prosperity's current. The wealthy may labor, but their labor is not strain. It is guided action, purposeful and efficient, flowing from inner certainty rather than outer desperation. Their work is the channel through which the abundance they already affirm pours into form. They do not confuse the shovel with the gold. They know the gold was theirs before the shovel touched the ground. The work simply uncovers what the law of supply had already delivered. This is why the wealthy often seem to achieve with ease what others cannot with struggle. Their ease comes from knowing that labor is the channel, not the source. When one treats labor as the source, resentment follows. The worker feels enslaved, bound to endless effort, hoping for reward yet fearing lack. The wealthy feel no such bondage. They approach work with joy, knowing it is but the instrument, never the master. They may rest without fear, for rest does not cut them off from the source. They may change the form of their labor, for the source does not depend on any single channel. Their wealth is not chained to a job, nor to a business, nor to a market. These are only streams, and if one stream runs dry, the river of supply simply finds another path. The poor cling to the channel as though it were the only lifeline, saying, "If I lose this job, I lose my supply." The wealthy say, "My supply is infinite, and this job is but one expression of it." Thus, when change comes, the poor tremble while the wealthy adapt. Their security is not in the form of labor, but in the source behind it. This understanding frees them from fear, and freedom itself attracts more abundance. For fear closes the hand, while freedom opens it to receive. Labor without consciousness of the source is often wasted effort. One may spend years climbing a ladder only to find it leaning against the wrong wall. But when the source is acknowledged, labor becomes divinely directed. Ideas flow that save time, reduce effort, and multiply results. A single inspired action achieves more than years of drudgery. Wealthy individuals often credit their success, not to how hard they worked, but to how wisely they worked, how intuitively they acted, how aligned they remained with the invisible source of supply. Their secret is not greater sweat but greater awareness. Consider the sculptor who chisels stone. His labor is real, yet the form was already present in his vision. The source of the statue was not the hammer and chisel, but the idea that guided them. Likewise, wealth is not created by labor itself but by the vision, faith, and affirmation that channel the unseen into tangible form. Labor is merely the hand that frees what already exists in potential. Without vision, the hammer strikes blindly. Without source, labor is aimless. But with alignment, even the smallest task reveals hidden treasure. The wealthy approach labor with reverence, but never with fear. They see it as service, as cooperation with universal law. They pour their intention into it, but they do not worship it. They know they are not servants of work. Work is their servant. It is the channel through which their decrees are made visible. If one channel closes, another opens, because the source is inexhaustible. This attitude removes all anxiety, for the wealthy never wonder, "How will I make a living?" They know life itself provides. They simply ask, "Through what channel will supply flow today?" A labor as the channel brings dignity without bondage. It allows one to engage joyfully, to contribute meaningfully, to express talents freely. But the wealthy never measure their worth by the weight of their labor, nor their wealth by the hours they have given. They measure by the consciousness of abundance they carry, for that consciousness determines what labor will yield. Two men may perform the same task, but one returns home weary with little to show, while the other prospers with ease. The difference lies not in the task, but in the awareness of the source. When labor is understood as channel, it loses its burden. The wealthy may labor diligently, but they do not labor anxiously. They give their best effort, but they do not exhaust themselves in fear of loss. They know that labor guided by confidence and affirmation multiplies effortlessly. Their work is blessed because it flows with the current of supply. To them, work is a joy, a dance, a song of cooperation with the infinite, and in that joy, wealth multiplies beyond the measure of effort. Daily repetition anchors abundance. A single affirmation spoken once may stir the waters of consciousness, but it is daily repetition that carves the riverbed deep enough for the flow of abundance to become steady and unstoppable. The mind, like soil, must be cultivated again and again, for every day the winds of fear and doubt scatter their seeds. Without repetition, weeds return swiftly. With repetition, truth takes firm root, anchoring itself so deeply that no storm can uproot it. Wealthy individuals understand this law and treat their daily affirmations as sacred practice, knowing that each repetition strengthens the structure of their prosperity. Repetition impresses the subconscious, and the subconscious directs life. The conscious mind may waver, distracted by appearances of lack, but the subconscious receives only what is repeated with consistency. It accepts the decree without question and works tirelessly to bring it into expression. The wealthy train their subconscious by daily words of power, repeated until belief becomes natural. What begins as deliberate practice transforms into effortless conviction, and conviction is the soil in which abundance grows without limit. Each day is a blank canvas. What is painted upon it depends on the words spoken at dawn and throughout the hours. Those who repeat affirmations of wealth each morning set their minds in harmony with increase, and the day responds with opportunity. Those who speak of lack set the same law in motion, but in reverse. The wealthy know the importance of beginning each day with repetition, for it aligns their thought with the unseen flow of supply, before the world has a chance to whisper otherwise. Daily repetition builds momentum. Just as a drop of water falling upon stone eventually shapes it, so do affirmations spoken daily reshape consciousness. The first repetitions may feel mechanical, the words spoken without full conviction, yet persistence engraves them into the inner being. Soon, what once seemed like mere words becomes lived truth, and the outer world begins to conform. Wealthy individuals do not stop repeating when results appear. They continue, knowing that abundance is not a single harvest, but an ongoing stream. The anchor must remain, for the current of life is constant. Abundance responds to repetition because repetition trains expectation. To affirm daily that riches flow freely is to expect their arrival, and expectation is magnetic. The universe hastens to fulfill the expectation that is deeply held, and nothing holds expectation firmer than daily declaration. Those who neglect repetition drift with shifting moods, believing one day, doubting the next, attracting today, repelling tomorrow. The wealthy are steady, for their repetition steadies them. They speak daily until their expectation is unshakable. An unshakable expectation draws wealth unfailingly. The mind resists at first, for it clings to appearances. One may affirm abundance while the outer world shows lack, and the mind protests. This is not true. But daily repetition quiets the protest, teaching the mind to look beyond appearance and rest in truth. Slowly, the balance shifts, the voice of doubt grows weaker, the voice of faith stronger. In time, the affirmation no longer feels foreign but natural, no longer feels forced but inevitable. This transformation cannot be rushed. It is the fruit of repetition. Wealthy individuals treat repetition as discipline, much like one would practice music or exercise the body. They know the mind must be trained daily, for its natural tendency is to wander. Just as the body gains strength by repeated motion, the mind gains power by repeated affirmation. Each repetition is a weight lifted, a step taken, a muscle strengthened. The discipline may seem simple, but its results are profound, for once the mind is strong in abundance, consciousness, it becomes an unshakable magnet for prosperity. Repetition also refines clarity. At first, affirmations may be broad and general, but with daily practice, they sharpen. The wealthy may begin by affirming, "I am prosperous." But over time the repetition expands into detailed vision: prosperity in relationships, prosperity in health, prosperity in opportunities, prosperity in finances. Daily practice deepens understanding of what abundance truly means, until the entire life becomes a demonstration of overflowing good. Those who neglect repetition drift back into the old patterns of thought. The mind reverts to worry, fear, and limitation, and the flow of abundance narrows. But repetition keeps the channel clear, the vessel open, the consciousness alert. It is the daily brushing away of dust, the steady polishing of the mirror through which supply reflects. Wealthy individuals do not risk neglecting this practice, for they know that abundance anchored by repetition is secure, while abundance without it is fleeting. Repetition is not mere chanting of words, it is the rhythmic beating of a drum that summons the unseen. Each word repeated daily carries power, and with every echo, the vibration grows stronger. The wealthy repeat until their entire being resonates with the sound of abundance, and life cannot help but harmonize. It is not the length of a single affirmation that matters, but the consistency with which it is repeated. A few words spoken faithfully each day outweigh countless words spoken once and forgotten. Daily repetition anchors abundance because it builds familiarity. What was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, and what was once distant becomes close. To the one who affirms wealth daily, wealth feels natural, expected, inevitable. Life always delivers to the level of what feels natural, never beyond it. Thus, the wealthy repeat until prosperity feels as common as breathing, until success feels as certain as sunrise. At that point, abundance flows effortlessly, for the mind no longer questions whether it belongs. Repetition also shields against the outer world. Circumstances may attempt to suggest lack, voices of others may declare limitation, appearances may contradict the truth. But the daily anchor of repetition holds firm. The wealthy return to their affirmations as a sailor returns to the compass, unmoved by storms or shifting winds. They know that as long as the anchor is kept, the ship cannot drift far from the course of abundance. Each repeated word is a chain holding consciousness steady against the pull of appearances. Daily repetition aligns with the rhythm of life itself. The sun rises each day, the tides return each day, the heart beats each moment in steady repetition. Abundance responds to the same rhythm. Wealthy individuals mirror this universal order by repeating their affirmations daily, tuning themselves to the cosmic pulse of increase. They know that prosperity is not sporadic but continual, not occasional but constant, and so their repetition matches the very nature of the supply they seek. Life responds to the vibration you send out in the morning. Each day is a blank check, and you are the one who writes the amount upon it with your thoughts, feelings, and words. The rich in mind and spirit know that the first moments of the day set the pattern for the hours that follow. They do not wake in a fog of worry or complaint. They rise with purpose, for they understand that life is a game of mental pictures, and the picture you paint at sunrise will be the landscape you walk through until nightfall. If you would walk in abundance, you must start your day in the consciousness of abundance. Before your feet touch the floor, declare what belongs to you by divine right: perfect health, overflowing wealth, joyous relationships, and work that inspires you. The world mirrors back your inner conviction. A mind set upon lack will see lack. A mind set upon riches, riches of every kind, will draw them as a magnet draws steel. The rich in spirit begin their mornings with thanksgiving, for gratitude is the open door to supply. They give thanks not only for what their eyes behold, but also for the unseen good that is already on its way. To say, "I am blessed," before the blessing appears is to command the blessing to come forth. This is not idle dreaming. It is aligning with the law that what you feel and claim inwardly will soon manifest outwardly. They also understand the power of the spoken word. Words are seeds, planted in the fertile soil of the morning mind. They grow rapidly. The rich sow seeds of confidence, harmony, and success before they even leave their homes. They say, "Today, all things work together for my good," and the day obeys. They say, "I have all I need and more," and circumstances rearrange themselves to match the declaration. Your morning is the golden gate of the day. If you rush through it in confusion, you carry that confusion with you. If you fill it with harmony, you carry harmony. The wealthy in consciousness know that the outer world is but a reflection of the inner, and so they begin within. They take a moment to see in their minds the day they wish to live, the meetings going well, the unexpected opportunities, the laughter shared, the phone call with good news. By doing so, they summon it into being. You too may start your day like the rich. Rise tomorrow with a clear mind and a full heart. Claim your good before you see it. Speak words that build and bless. Give thanks for the treasures already yours, and for those on the way. The day will rise to meet you at the level of your expectation. Let your expectation be high, and your morning rich, for in truth, you are the heir to an infinite supply. To begin the day with gratitude is to place yourself instantly in the stream of abundance. The first thoughts upon waking are like the first brushstrokes on a canvas. They establish the tone and mood for everything that follows. Gratitude is not merely a polite sentiment, it is a powerful spiritual force that magnetizes good to you. When you give thanks for what you have and for what is yet unseen, you are acknowledging that there is already a provision for every need. This acknowledgement opens the door for that provision to enter your experience. The mind, when filled with appreciation, cannot simultaneously hold thoughts of lack, fear, or resentment. These lower vibrations are dissolved in the presence of genuine thanksgiving. Upon awakening, there is a sacred stillness between the dreams of the night and the activity of the day. In that stillness, your mind is impressionable, and whatever seed you plant will grow rapidly. If the first seed is complaint about the weather, the tasks ahead, the condition of your life, you set a pattern that will repeat itself throughout the hours. But if the first seed is gratitude, deep, heartfelt acknowledgement of the good already at hand, you create a chain of events that reflect that richness. The rich in mind understand this and do not squander those precious first moments. They deliberately turn their thoughts to all that is working, all that is beautiful, all that is worthy of thanks. Gratitude shifts perception. Where another might see only obstacles, the grateful person sees opportunities. Where one might dwell on what is missing, the grateful mind dwells on what is present and good. This shift is not naive, it is strategic. For the law of life is such that what you focus on expands. To focus on the good already with you is to invite more of it. Begin the day with thanks for the bed that held you, the roof above you, the body that carried you through the night. Give thanks for the people who care for you, for the skills you possess, for the opportunities you have already received. Each acknowledgement sends out a signal: more of this, please. It is important to understand that gratitude is not passive. It is not merely accepting what is with resignation. True gratitude is active. It is an energetic claim of harmony and supply. When you say, "I am grateful for the money I have," you are also declaring, "I am in the flow of financial abundance." When you give thanks for health, even if your body is not yet in perfect form, you are affirming that perfect health is your rightful state, and you align yourself with its manifestation. This is why beginning the day with gratitude is more than just a pleasant ritual, it is a deliberate alignment with the highest good. The mind upon waking is like a lens. What you point it toward will color the entire day's experience. If you point it toward problems, you magnify problems. If you point it toward blessings, you magnify blessings. Even the smallest expressions of thanks have power, because they train the mind to notice the good, and in noticing, you summon more of it. This practice becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. A grateful morning leads to moments of grace throughout the day. Those moments, in turn, give you more to be grateful for the next morning. The cycle builds, and soon your entire life takes on the shape of your gratitude. When practiced consistently, morning gratitude alters the way the subconscious mind operates. The subconscious is highly suggestible during the first few minutes after waking, and it accepts whatever is given to it as truth. By feeding it words and images of appreciation, you impress upon it a belief in abundance, safety, and harmony. These beliefs then govern your reactions, your expectations, and the situations you attract. This is why those who begin the day with gratitude often seem lucky to others. Their good fortune is not random, but cultivated through deliberate mental and emotional focus. Gratitude in the morning is also a form of preparation. Before stepping into the world, you clothe yourself in the energy you wish to carry. You wrap yourself in the warmth of appreciation, and this warmth radiates outward, influencing your encounters. People respond to those who carry gratitude. They feel at ease, uplifted, and more willing to extend kindness or opportunity. This is not manipulation, it is resonance. You simply meet others at the frequency of goodwill, and goodwill returns to you multiplied. To practice this, you may keep a mental or written list upon waking. Some speak their thanks aloud, infusing the words with emotion. Others hold the feeling in silence, allowing it to grow and expand. There is no rigid formula, only sincerity. The more real the feeling, the more powerful the effect. It is not about reciting words without meaning. It is about allowing your heart to swell with recognition of your blessings. Even in seasons where challenges seem great, gratitude finds the thread of light and holds fast to it, knowing it will grow brighter. It is in the mornings, before the demands of the day scatter your attention, that gratitude can be most potent. This is when you are closest to the source of your being, when the chatter of the world has not yet entered your mind. It is here that you can speak to yourself and to life with clarity and authority. I give thanks for the good that is mine now, and the greater good on the way. These words do not merely acknowledge the present, they call forth the future. They set your inner compass toward joy, and wherever you go, you will find yourself moving in that direction. To claim abundance as your divine right is to step into the original design of your life, a design in which lack, limitation, and struggle have no place. The universe is not stingy, it is overflowing with every form of supply, and all of it is created for you to enjoy, use, and share. When you claim abundance, you are not asking for something outside of your reach. You are recognizing what is already yours by the very fact of your existence. The air does not ask if you are worthy before it fills your lungs, and the sun does not check your credentials before it shines upon you. These gifts are freely given, and so too is the abundance of opportunity, wealth, health, love, and joy. But the key is to claim it, to stand in the inner knowing that it belongs to you as much as it belongs to anyone else. Many fail to live in abundance not because it is absent, but because they have never truly claimed it. They tiptoe through life, waiting for permission, waiting for a sign, waiting for conditions to be perfect before they dare to say, "I am rich in every good thing." But abundance responds to boldness. The moment you declare it as your right, you align with the laws that govern prosperity. You move from hoping to knowing, from wishing to expecting. The rich in spirit do not apologize for abundance, nor do they pretend to be small so that others feel comfortable. They understand that their fullness benefits everyone, for in having much, they can give much. To claim abundance as your divine right, you must first uproot the hidden beliefs that contradict it. Many carry the idea that money is scarce, that good fortune comes only to a chosen few, or that desiring more is selfish. These thoughts are like weeds in the garden of the mind, choking the growth of supply. They must be replaced with truths, that the universe is infinite, that there is enough for all, and that your flourishing harms no one. In fact, the more you thrive, the more you inspire and empower others to do the same. Every great river overflows its banks and waters the land beyond. It is in the nature of abundance to spread. When you claim abundance, you speak as one who already possesses it. You say, "I have all I need and more," even before your outer conditions reflect it. This is not deception, it is recognition. The outer world is slow to catch up to the inner claim, but it always follows. The seed is invisible beneath the soil, yet the farmer speaks of his crops with confidence because he knows the law of growth will bring them forth. Likewise, when you claim abundance, you plant seeds in the fertile ground of your subconscious, and the harvest is inevitable. Claiming abundance is an act of authority. It is refusing to identify with poverty, illness, or limitation, no matter how convincing they appear. You might see a low bank balance, but you say, "My supply is infinite and flows to me now." You might feel the symptoms of illness, but you say, "Perfect health is my natural state." You might encounter closed doors, but you say, "The right doors open for me at the right time." Each statement reaffirms your rightful place in the flow of good. Over time, these declarations shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your reality. This claiming must be done daily, and with feeling. Words without conviction are like checks without signatures. They cannot be cashed. You must feel the truth of what you say, even if only for a few seconds at first. This feeling is the magnet that draws the physical equivalent into your life. When you declare your abundance and feel the joy, relief, and security it would bring, you are already living in that reality on the unseen level. The outer world, which is a mirror, eventually reflects it back to you in form. The rich in spirit know that abundance is more than money. It is time, energy, creativity, health, love, peace of mind. To claim abundance is to say yes to the full spectrum of life's blessings. You may have wealth in one form and lack in another, but by claiming the wholeness of abundance, you invite balance. You declare, "I have an abundance of love, an abundance of ideas, an abundance of opportunities, an abundance of resources." Each of these areas supports the others, creating a life that feels rich in every dimension. One way to strengthen your claim is to act as if abundance is already present. This does not mean reckless spending or pretending to be something you are not. It means walking through the day with the posture, the confidence, and the generosity of one who knows they are supplied. If you believe your time is abundant, you stop rushing. If you believe your resources are abundant, you stop hoarding. If you believe your opportunities are abundant, you stop fearing missed chances. Every action becomes a silent affirmation. I live in a universe that is for me, not against me. The claiming of abundance also requires releasing the habit of comparison. When you measure your worth by what others have, you are in effect saying that your good is limited to the leftovers of their good. But abundance is not a pie from which others take slices. It is the ocean, and you may draw from it without reducing its supply. To look at another's wealth, health, or happiness and bless it is to affirm that such good is possible for you as well. This attitude removes jealousy and replaces it with certainty that there is more than enough to go around. In moments when fear or doubt tries to creep in, the act of claiming abundance becomes your anchor. You do not wait for circumstances to reassure you. You speak your truth into the silence and hold to it until the evidence appears. You might walk through a season where the outer signs are faint, but as long as your inner claim remains firm, the season will turn. Just as winter cannot prevent spring from coming. Temporary appearances cannot stop the flow of good that you have acknowledged as your own. To speak affirmations of success and harmony is to take hold of the creative power of the spoken word and use it deliberately. Words are not mere sounds. They are carriers of intention, vibration, and authority. When you speak, you send out a command to the unseen forces that shape your life. Every phrase, whether careless or intentional, is like a seed cast into the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. The rich in spirit understand that to plant seeds of discord is to reap a harvest of discord, and to plant seeds of harmony is to reap a harvest of harmony. Therefore, they choose their words with care, for words once spoken cannot be recalled, and they will grow into form according to their kind. Affirmations are not idle repetitions. They are deliberate declarations of the truth you wish to see expressed. When you affirm, "Everything I do prospers," you are not describing a current fact. You are aligning yourself with a principle. The law of cause and effect responds to the conviction behind your words, not merely the sounds you make. If you speak them without belief, they pass away like wind over water. But when you speak with certainty, feeling the reality of the words as if it were already true, you set in motion the forces that will make it so. The power of affirmations lies in their ability to override the habitual patterns of thought that may have been running unchecked for years. Many people speak unconsciously, repeating phrases of limitation. "I can't afford that. Nothing ever works out for me. This always happens." These words reinforce the very conditions they complain about. To reverse them, you must speak the opposite: success instead of failure, harmony instead of conflict, abundance instead of lack. This is not denial of reality, it is the creation of a new one. You are declaring what is true in the higher order, even if it has not yet taken shape in the material world. The morning is the most potent time for affirmations, for the mind is still uncluttered and receptive. Speaking words of success at the start of the day sets a tone that carries through every encounter and decision. You might say, "Today, all things work together for my good," or "I move through this day with ease and confidence." These phrases are like tuning forks that set your entire being to the frequency of the outcome you desire. Throughout the day, when situations arise that might unsettle you, you return to these words, and they anchor you. Harmony is as important to affirm as success, for success without harmony leads to strain and imbalance. To affirm harmony is to declare that your relationships, your work, your health, and your inner life flow together without conflict. You might say, "I am in perfect harmony with everyone I meet," or "Peace surrounds me and flows through me." These words not only affect your own state of mind, but also influence the way others respond to you. People feel the energy behind your words even if they are not consciously aware of it. A harmonious spirit draws cooperative situations, while a discordant spirit attracts friction. Affirmations also work best when spoken in the present tense. Saying, "I will be successful," keeps success in the future just out of reach. Saying, "I am successful," brings it into the now, where your subconscious can accept it as reality. The mind responds more readily to what is claimed as already existing. Even if your current circumstances appear to contradict your affirmation, the repetition of the truth you choose begins to shift those circumstances to match your words. It is not enough to speak an affirmation once and expect a transformation. Just as a seed must be watered and tended to grow, so must affirmations be repeated with feeling and consistency. Each time you speak them, you reinforce the mental picture they carry. Over time, the old patterns weaken and the new patterns take root. This process requires persistence, for the mind may initially resist the new truth, especially if it conflicts with years of habitual thinking. But just as a sculptor chips away at stone to reveal the figure within, so your affirmations chip away at limiting beliefs until the reality you desire stands clear. The tone and emotion you use when speaking affirmations are vital. Mechanical repetition without feeling has little effect. When you affirm, Let the words be alive with conviction. Feel the satisfaction of the success you claim, the peace of the harmony you speak. Your subconscious responds most powerfully to words that are charged with emotion, for emotion is the signal that you believe what you are saying. Even if at first you must imagine the feeling, do so, and with each repetition it will grow more natural until it becomes your automatic state. You can also tailor your affirmations to address specific areas of your life. If you wish to advance in your career, you might affirm, "I am valued, capable, and my work brings me joy and reward." If you seek improved relationships, you could affirm, "I attract kind, supportive, and harmonious connections." For health, every cell of my body is strong, healthy, and vibrant. The more specific your words, the more clearly your mind can form the picture of what you desire, and the clearer the picture, the faster it manifests. Speaking affirmations is also a way of reclaiming authority over your inner dialogue. The mind, left unchecked, often repeats fears, doubts, and criticisms picked up from the world. By consciously replacing these with affirmations of success and harmony, you take control of the narrative running through your thoughts. Over time, this conscious effort becomes an unconscious habit, and you find yourself naturally speaking words that uplift and strengthen, both to yourself and to others. Affirmations are not limited to private moments, they can be woven into daily conversation. When asked how you are, instead of replying with a complaint or neutral phrase, you might say, "I'm doing wonderfully," or "Things are working out beautifully." These statements, spoken aloud to others, reinforce them in your own mind and send a clear signal to the universe of the reality you accept as yours. The more you speak success and harmony, the more they become your lived experience. To visualize the day you desire is to take the role of the architect of your own experience. The images you hold in your mind are blueprints for the life you will walk through. Just as no builder begins without a plan, no wise person begins the day without a mental picture of what they wish to see unfold. Visualization is not fantasy. It is the deliberate shaping of thought into form. The mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. It reacts to both as if they are the same. This is why those who begin their mornings by seeing in their minds the day they wish to live so often find their days unfolding in harmony with their vision. When you rise, before the demands of the world claim your attention, the mind is clear, open, and most receptive to suggestion. This is the perfect time to paint the picture of your ideal day. You might see yourself moving through your morning with calm efficiency, completing your tasks with ease, meeting others with warmth and confidence. You might picture the phone call that brings good news, the unexpected opportunity that arrives at just the right moment, the conversation that leads to mutual understanding. The details matter. For the more precise your vision, the more clearly your subconscious can set the stage for it to appear. The act of visualization imprints the subconscious mind, and the subconscious in turn directs your thoughts, actions, and perceptions throughout the day. It heightens your awareness of opportunities that align with your vision, and it makes you more resourceful in bringing them about. If you have visualized a day filled with productivity, you will notice the moments when you can be more efficient. If you have visualized a day filled with pleasant interactions, you will naturally speak and act in ways that invite harmony. In this way, visualization is not passive, it is the first step in a chain of cause and effect that shapes your reality. It is important to see the desired day as if it is already happening. Place yourself within the scene, looking out from your own eyes, rather than observing from a distance. Feel the emotions that would accompany your success, the satisfaction of completing your work, the joy of sharing a laugh, the relief of receiving a solution to a problem. These feelings are the fuel that gives your vision life. Without them, the images remain flat and powerless. With them, they become living experiences that the mind seeks to reproduce in the outer world. Some find it helpful to begin with broad strokes, seeing the day as smooth, pleasant, and prosperous, before moving to finer details. Others prefer to create a specific sequence from morning to night, picturing each event in the way they wish it to occur. There is no single method. What matters is that the image feels real and desirable. If doubt tries to creep in, gently replace it with the vision again. Persistence is key. For the mind is trained by repetition, and the more often you hold the image, the more natural it becomes. Visualization also works best when it includes all the senses. Hear the friendly tone in the voices you encounter, the words of praise or thanks you receive. See the expressions of warmth and respect on the faces around you. Feel the texture of your surroundings, the smooth desk as you work, the firm handshake of agreement, the softness of a comfortable chair after a job well done. Even smell and taste can be part of the scene. The aroma of your morning coffee, the freshness of the air during a walk. The more senses you engage, the more completely the mind accepts the experience as real. If you wish to direct your day toward a specific outcome, see that outcome clearly and without hesitation. If you have an important meeting, visualize yourself walking in with confidence, speaking clearly, and seeing the others respond positively. If you face a challenge, visualize yourself meeting it with calm resourcefulness and emerging successful. By rehearsing these scenes in your mind, you prepare yourself not only mentally but also physically, as your body and emotions follow the cues of your imagination. Those who practice daily visualization often notice a shift in their overall outlook. They move through the day with a sense of calm authority, as if they already know how events will unfold. This confidence itself influences the day, for others respond to it and opportunities tend to flow toward those who expect them. Visualization, then, is not only about shaping events, but also about shaping the self who moves through them. Even when the day does not go exactly as pictured, the practice of visualization still yields benefit. You are more adaptable, more inclined to look for the good in unexpected changes, and more likely to find solutions quickly. The mental rehearsal of positive outcomes builds a habit of expectation, and this expectation becomes the lens through which you see the world. Because you have trained your mind to look for harmony, success, and opportunity, you will find them more often, even in places where others see only difficulty. Visualization in the morning is especially powerful because it sets the emotional tone for the rest of the day. Instead of reacting to events as they come, you begin by deciding how you wish to feel and what you wish to experience, and then you step into that state. The outer world begins to arrange itself in ways that match your inner state, and you find yourself meeting the right people, encountering favorable circumstances, and receiving answers with ease. This is not coincidence, it is the natural result of aligning thought, feeling, and expectation with a desired outcome. The practice can be brief, just a few minutes upon waking, or it can be more extended, with time taken to savor each detail. It can be done in silence, with gentle music, or with spoken affirmations that match the vision. Some prefer to close their eyes and picture the scenes, while others like to write them down as if describing a story that is already true. However it is done, the essence is the same. You are choosing the images that will guide your day, rather than letting the day choose them for you. To maintain a high level of expectation is to hold yourself in the continual awareness that good is not only possible, but inevitable. Expectation is the bridge between belief and manifestation. It is the quiet conviction that the seed you have planted will grow. The moment you expect something with certainty, you begin to align your thoughts, actions, and even your physical state toward its arrival. You carry yourself differently, you notice opportunities you would have overlooked, and you move with the confidence of one who knows the outcome is already decided in their favor. This is not mere optimism. It is a deliberate mental stance that draws results to match it. Every day unfolds according to the quality of your expectations. If you expect difficulties, your mind becomes alert for signs of trouble, and you will find them. If you expect success, your mind becomes alert for signs of opportunity, and you will find those instead. Expectation is like a lens. It filters what you notice and amplifies it. Two people can walk through the same day, one will see nothing but obstacles. The other will see nothing but solutions. The difference lies not in the day itself, but in the inner expectation with which they approached it. Maintaining a high level of expectation requires discipline, for the world offers many chances to lower it. Negative news, the complaints of others, and even your own past disappointments can tempt you to expect less in order to avoid being let down. But lowering your expectation is like closing a window to keep out fresh air. It may shield you from a gust, but it also shuts out the steady breeze of good that is trying to reach you. High expectation is an open channel. It allows the flow of life's abundance to reach you without obstruction. Expectation must be paired with belief to have power. You cannot half believe and expect fully. The moment doubt takes over, expectation falters, and the signal you send to the world becomes mixed. This is why it is important to nurture belief daily, through affirmations, gratitude, visualization, so that your expectation rests on a firm foundation. The rich in spirit do not let circumstances dictate their expectation. They let their expectation dictate their circumstances. They know that every outer condition is temporary, and that holding steady in the conviction of a good outcome allows that outcome to take form. One way to maintain high expectation is to act as though what you desire is already on its way. When you anticipate a guest you value, you prepare the space, you make ready the table, you arrange the details so that their arrival will be welcomed. This same principle applies to all forms of good, whether it is an opportunity, a relationship, a sum of money, or improved health. By preparing in advance, you are signaling that you expect its arrival, and this readiness draws it closer. Expectation also shapes the energy you bring into every interaction. When you expect people to be kind, cooperative, and helpful, you often receive that very behavior. Your tone of voice, your body language, and your openness all reflect your anticipation, and others respond in kind. Conversely, if you expect hostility or rejection, you may unconsciously act in ways that invite it. High expectation sets a harmonious tone that influences not only your own actions, but the actions of those around you. There is also a subtle but powerful connection between expectation and receptivity. Many people say they want certain blessings, but secretly doubt they will recognize or accept them when they come. High expectation keeps you alert and receptive. You do not dismiss an opportunity because it looks different than you imagined. Instead, you remain open, knowing that the essence of what you desire can arrive in many forms. This openness allows you to seize chances that others overlook because they are too fixed on one idea of how their good should appear. Maintaining a high level of expectation requires vigilance over your inner dialogue. The mind will sometimes whisper doubts, recalling times when things did not work out as planned. In those moments, it is essential to remind yourself that each day is new, that the past does not dictate the present, and that your expectation can shift the trajectory of what is unfolding. By catching these thoughts early and replacing them with words of assurance, you keep your mental atmosphere clear. Another key is to surround yourself with influences that reinforce your expectation. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, the media you consume, all of these either strengthen or weaken your inner stance. If you wish to maintain a high level of expectation, seek out environments that uplift and encourage you. Listen to stories of success, spend time with those who believe in possibility. Engage in activities that remind you of life's richness. Each of these choices supports the mental posture you are committed to holding. Expectation is not about forcing outcomes, it is about knowing they are unfolding in their right time and form. When you expect good, you do not strain or chase. You move steadily forward, alert for the signs that your desire is nearing fulfillment. This calm assurance keeps you from exhausting your energy in worry or haste. It allows you to enjoy the journey, knowing that the destination is secure. In this way, high expectation is deeply connected to peace of mind, for it replaces uncertainty with trust. There is also a cumulative effect to sustained expectation. Each time you hold the image of a good outcome and see it realized, you strengthen your confidence in the process. Over time, you no longer have to work as hard to maintain high expectation. It becomes your natural state. You begin to see good as the default, challenges as temporary, and solutions as inevitable. This shift transforms the way you move through life. You become resilient, hopeful, and steady, no matter what the outer situation may suggest. Say this and be quiet, you will receive $90 million, 0 cents. There are words that unlock invisible doors, words that carry the vibration of divine supply, words that command the universe to rearrange itself for your good. Every spoken word is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind, and when you learn the sacred art of saying the right words, and then resting in silence, you become a master of manifestation. The law of the spoken word is unfailing, for the universe is obedient to the rhythm of faith, not fear. When you speak with conviction and then grow still, you allow the unseen forces to fulfill your decree. Many people talk themselves out of their blessings by worrying, doubting, or constantly repeating words of lack. They plant a seed and then dig it up again to see if it has sprouted. But the wise one speaks once, calmly, clearly, confidently, and then becomes quiet, knowing the law is now working. To say this and be quiet is to place your order with the divine and step away from the counter. You do not beg, you do not chase, you do not wonder, you know. The universe is not moved by effort, it is moved by alignment, and alignment comes through the words spoken with faith and followed by silence. When you say the words of power, words charged with feeling, faith, and expectancy, you stir the creative ethers to life. These words become messengers that go forth and build your new reality. The vibration of your speech reaches beyond the visible world, calling forth the substance of things hoped for. The one who learns to speak prosperity into being and then keeps still is like the gardener who plants a golden seed and then leaves it in peace. He does not hover over it or doubt its growth. He knows that every law of nature conspires for its fruition. In the same way, when you affirm divine abundance, when you declare that great wealth is already yours in essence and form, you must rest from the labor of thought, be still, and let it come. You will receive $90 million, 0 cents, or whatever sum aligns with your divine blueprint, when you cease contradicting your decree. The spoken word creates, the silent word sustains. The moment you release your command, infinite intelligence begins to arrange people, circumstances, and opportunities to deliver your good. The delay never comes from the giver, but from the receiver's doubt. Speak once with authority and then fall into the quiet of trust. There is a spiritual science behind prosperity, and it is beautifully simple. The word, the faith, the silence. You must not talk against your riches after you have called them forth. Every complaint, every anxious question, every fearful thought cancels the order. Say the words of power, then be quiet. Let your silence be your faith made visible. The moment you cease to worry, the floodgates open. The river of abundance flows where there is peace, not noise. And so you say this, and you are quiet, and your miracle begins. To speak once with faith and then remain silent is to enter into the divine rhythm of creation itself. The power of the spoken word is immense, yet few understand its subtle law. When you speak a word of faith, you are impressing upon the unseen substance of the universe a command, a picture, an order. The universe does not require repetition to obey, it requires certainty. When you truly believe in the power of your declaration, you do not need to say it again and again, because faith is final. Faith is the knowing that what you have spoken already exists in the invisible, and it will soon reveal itself in form. The person of faith speaks once, for repetition belongs to doubt, and silence belongs to assurance. The spoken word is not a mere arrangement of sounds, it is vibration, and vibration moves matter. Every word carries a tone, and every tone shapes substance. When you speak with conviction, your voice becomes the conductor of unseen energy, drawing into form the reality you have declared. But after the word is spoken, silence becomes sacred. Silence is not emptiness, It is trust in motion. It is the womb of manifestation, the space where your command grows roots and gathers power. When you speak with faith and then fall into silence, you are demonstrating perfect confidence in the unseen forces working on your behalf. Most people destroy their own decrees because they cannot remain quiet after they have spoken. They repeat their affirmations not from faith, but from fear that the first one was not heard. They plant a seed in the soil and then keep digging it up to see if it has taken root. This restlessness of mind interrupts the process of creation. Faith is calm. Faith speaks once and then lets go. To remain silent after speaking is to affirm that you believe the universe has heard you and that your good is already on its way. The silence after the word is the greatest proof of your belief. When you speak a word of faith, it goes forth into the spiritual substance that surrounds all things. This substance is obedient and intelligent. It knows how to arrange itself according to your vibration, but it must not be disturbed. Imagine you are molding a statue from soft clay. You shape it with your words, and then you must allow it to harden in peace. If you keep touching it, correcting it, questioning it, you destroy the form before it has time to set. Silence is the curing time of creation. The one who knows this law uses speech with precision and restraint, for they understand that every word spoken carries weight in the invisible. To speak once with faith means that you have spoken from the place of authority within you. You have aligned yourself with the divine source, the infinite intelligence that governs all creation. You are not pleading or begging, you are declaring. Your word becomes law the moment it leaves your lips when you speak from inner conviction. That conviction cannot exist if you are uncertain, fearful, or impatient. You must feel the truth of your statement as though it has already manifested. Speak it once, and then enter into the silence where no doubt can survive. The silence is not passive. It is creative rest. It is the assurance that the power which made the universe is now working through your word. When you say something in faith, the vibration of that word travels into the unseen and begins to draw to you everything necessary for its fulfillment. Situations, people, and opportunities begin to shift to accommodate the new decree. The process is invisible, but it is exact. The unseen responds instantly to the word spoken with authority. However, your task after speaking is to remain inwardly still. You must not interfere with divine timing by questioning or analyzing how your desire will come to pass. The how is the province of the infinite. Your role is to believe and receive. Silence is the seal upon the spoken word. Just as wax seals a letter and ensures its safe delivery, silence seals your decree and ensures its manifestation. When you speak and then go silent, you are sending your word to the universe with full faith that it will reach its destination. Every time you speak again, you unseal it, and it must be resealed through renewed conviction. The wise person knows that the less they speak after making their decree, the faster it manifests, for there are no mixed vibrations to confuse the creative substance. The universe does not respond to many words. It responds to one word spoken in truth. When you speak once with faith, you are acting as the creator, not the beggar. The creator speaks and then observes. The beggar speaks and then worries. One commands the unseen, the other doubts it. The creative law is simple. Speak the word, feel its truth, and be still. The moment you speak, the process begins, and your silence becomes the signal that you are not contradicting your creation. You are not fighting against it with fear. You are not disturbing the soil where your seed has been planted. You are resting in divine order, knowing that everything necessary is unfolding at the right time, in the right way. To remain silent after speaking is one of the greatest disciplines of spiritual mastery. It is easy to talk, to repeat, to seek reassurance from the outer world, but silence is the proof of inner knowing. Silence is where faith matures. When you have spoken your decree of abundance, healing, love, or success, resist the temptation to explain it to others, to justify it, or to question it. Let your silence be your demonstration of power. Let the quiet within you vibrate with expectancy, not anxiety. Your silence speaks louder than your words. when it is filled with faith. The entire universe operates through cycles of expression and rest. The ocean moves and then grows calm. The breath inhales and then exhales. The earth turns and then pauses in stillness. The word and the silence follow the same law. Expression gives birth to form. Silence allows it to mature. The one who understands this rhythm lives in harmony with creation itself. To speak once with faith and then remain silent is to work with the universe, not against it. It is to know that your word once released is alive, and that your stillness nourishes it until it bears fruit. When you master this principle, you no longer chase your desires, you magnetize them. Your faithful word sends out a vibration so clear and unwavering that the universe cannot resist fulfilling it. And your silence becomes the space through which that fulfillment flows, unobstructed, unhurried, inevitable. To speak once with faith and then remain silent is to step into the divine pattern of manifestation, the pattern through which all miracles move. It is to trust completely in the creative power that listens to your every word and responds to your every belief. Words are seeds, silence allows them to grow. Every word spoken with emotion, belief, or imagination plants something. In the invisible garden of life, the universe is soil that never rejects a seed. It accepts every word we utter, every thought we nourish, every belief we hold, and begins to reproduce it faithfully. When you speak, you are not merely communicating, you are creating. You are sending out vibrations that shape the unseen substance of the world into visible form. Each word has a frequency, and that frequency attracts experiences that match its vibration. Words of abundance attract abundance, words of peace attract harmony, and words of fear attract confusion and limitation. The spoken word is the beginning of all manifestation. But once the seed is planted, silence becomes sacred, for silence is the gentle darkness in which the seed grows strong roots, unseen by the eye. The person who understands the creative power of words treats speech as holy ground. They do not scatter words carelessly, for they know that every utterance is a cause waiting for an effect. To speak with purpose is to plant deliberately. When you say, "I am prosperous," you drop a seed of prosperity into the universal soil. When you declare, "I am healthy," you plant a seed of vitality that begins to germinate the moment the words leave your lips. But these seeds must be left undisturbed if they are to grow into full expression. You cannot plant and dig, and expect a harvest. The word must be followed by quiet trust, for it is in silence that invisible laws go to work, nourishing the seed and drawing to it the elements needed for its fruition. In nature, the seed is not rushed. It lies still beneath the surface, drawing life from the soil, the moisture, and the warmth of the sun. It does not struggle or question whether it will sprout. It simply rests in the certainty of its design. Likewise, when you speak words of power, you must allow them to rest in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Your silence is the warmth that allows them to grow. If you speak your affirmation and then contradict it with worry, fear, or constant repetition born from doubt, you weaken the root before it has taken hold. Faith is silence. Silence is confidence in the unseen. When you are still after speaking, you show that you trust the process of creation more than the evidence of your senses. Words are not magic spells, they are divine laws in motion. Every word is a command issued to the creative substance of life. The moment you speak, invisible forces begin aligning to bring about what you have declared. The process may be unseen, but it is exact, orderly, and inevitable when left alone. Silence is not inactivity, it is a magnetic field that attracts completion. The gardener does not shout at the seed to grow faster. He tends the soil, waters it gently, and waits with patience. In the same way, silence is the waiting ground of faith. It is not emptiness, but expectation. It is the invisible womb in which your spoken word takes on life and form. Those who do not understand this principle fill their days with noise. They talk endlessly about their desires, but never allow the quiet in which manifestation occurs. Their constant chatter scatters the energy of their words, diluting their power. Silence concentrates energy. It gathers the scattered vibrations and directs them toward completion. When you are quiet after speaking, your inner vibration remains steady, and this steadiness calls forth the result. The more still you are inwardly, the faster your words bear fruit, for silence is the language of the divine, and the divine responds not to noise, but to knowing. To speak words of truth and then grow silent is to trust that the universe is listening. It is to understand that creation is a partnership between your conscious word and the subconscious silence that brings it to life. The conscious mind plants, the subconscious nurtures. The conscious speaks the desire, the subconscious molds it into form. The conscious says, "I am successful," and the subconscious, in silence, begins to arrange circumstances, ideas, and opportunities to make that statement a living reality. When you keep interrupting the process with contradictory thoughts, you confuse the soil. The subconscious does not judge. It merely obeys the most consistent command. That is why silence after speech is so vital. It ensures consistency of vibration. It allows your inner soil to nourish one seed, not many conflicting ones. Every spoken word carries the breath of life, and that breath continues to move long after the sound is faded. The echo of your word travels through the ether, drawing to itself its own kind. Words of love call forth love. Words of fear call forth fear. This law is impersonal and exact, and it is always at work. But the harvest takes time, and that time is sacred silence. In that interval between the spoken word and its visible result, the universe is rearranging itself. The delay is never denial, it is preparation. The soil is working, the roots are spreading, the stem is strengthening beneath the surface. Silence is the phase where everything invisible gathers strength to become visible. When you understand that words are seeds, you stop wasting them. You speak less, but you speak with more meaning. You begin to select your words as carefully as a jeweler selects gems. You realize that idle talk and negative declarations are weeds that choke the growth of your good. You become mindful, deliberate, and calm in your speech, and when you finish speaking your word, you retreat into silence, knowing that your part is done. The creative power has been set in motion, and the universe now takes over. You do not need to force, beg, or worry. The silent period is not an absence of progress. It is the very womb of creation. Silence does not mean lack of action. While you are quiet in thought and speech, you may be led to take inspired steps. These actions arise naturally, not from anxiety but from intuition. They are effortless because they come from the same power that fulfills the word. In silence, you become receptive to divine guidance, hearing the inner voice that tells you what to do and when. The noise of constant speech and thought drowns this inner direction. Silence opens the ear of the spirit, allowing you to act at the perfect time. The seed of your word grows silently, but it will nudge you when it is ready to break through the surface. Silence is the language of completion. It is the invisible bridge between desire and manifestation. When you speak a word of truth, you are sending out energy. When you fall silent afterward, you are drawing that energy back to you in material form. Both are necessary, the word and the silence. The word gives the command, and the silence fulfills it. To skip silence is to interrupt the law of rhythm that governs all creation. Everything in nature breathes, expands, and contracts. The word is the expansion. Silence is the contraction that brings substance into form. When you learn to honor silence as much as speech, your words gain power, and your manifestations arrive with grace and ease. The wise understand that the soil of the universe never fails to produce what is planted within it. Its only requirement is that you do not disturb it. The moment you speak your desire in faith, it is planted. From that point, your task is to hold the silent conviction that it is already done. No argument, no explanation, no repetition is needed. The seed will sprout at the appointed time. Your silence is its protection, your faith its nourishment. Words are seeds, and silence allows them to grow. The universe responds to alignment, not effort. This is one of the most profound principles of life. Yet it is often misunderstood. Many believe that the more they struggle, push, and strive, the closer they come to their desires. They think that effort is the currency of achievement, that toil and labor are what summon results. Yet the law of life does not operate through struggle. It operates through harmony. When you are aligned with the creative flow of the universe, everything you desire moves toward you with effortless grace. Alignment is the key that unlocks the door to unlimited abundance, success, health, and joy. Effort without alignment may achieve something, but it rarely achieves the highest good or the most complete fulfillment. To be aligned means that your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in agreement with the reality you wish to experience. Every thought carries a vibration, every emotion adds weight to that vibration, and every action either supports or hinders the flow of manifestation. When your inner world is coherent, when your beliefs, emotions, and words match the vision you hold, you emit a powerful signal into the invisible realm. The universe is intelligent and responds to vibration, not struggle. Effort can move the body, but it cannot move the unseen. Only alignment moves the unseen, and once the unseen moves, the visible follows naturally. Most people work against the current of their own desires because they are out of alignment. They want wealth, for example, but their thoughts are filled with fear of lack. They desire health, but their emotions are weighed down by worry and doubt. They pray for love, yet they speak harsh words and cling to resentment. In these states, all effort is wasted, for the invisible realm responds only to what is consistent and coherent. Alignment is the channel through which the power of creation flows freely. Effort without this channel is like trying to pour water into a bucket with a hole. It will never hold. When you cultivate alignment, you are in harmony with the natural laws that govern life. You are no longer forcing events or people to conform to your desires. Instead, you are tuning yourself to the same frequency as the outcome you wish to see. The universe recognizes this frequency, and circumstances begin to shift effortlessly to match it. Alignment does not demand visible work or struggle. It demands inner clarity and emotional resonance. The clearer and more coherent your inner state, the stronger the signal you send and the faster your desires manifest. Effort, on the other hand, comes from resistance. It comes from a belief that life must be forced, that nothing will come without struggle. This energy creates friction, and friction blocks the flow of manifestation. You may accomplish tasks through effort, but you will rarely experience the ease, joy, and perfection that alignment brings. The difference is subtle but profound. Effort often produces temporary results. Alignment produces lasting fulfillment. Effort moves the body. Alignment moves the universe. To align yourself, you must first know what you desire in its most complete and positive form. Your thoughts must be clear, your feelings must be joyful, and your imagination must see the end result as already real. Once your inner state matches the outer reality you seek, your actions naturally follow in perfect timing. You do not push or force, you act in inspired ways that feel effortless. These actions are the byproduct of alignment, not the source of results. When you are in alignment, even ordinary steps become potent instruments of manifestation. Every person has moments of alignment and misalignment. Moments of alignment feel light, expansive, and effortless. Energy flows naturally. Circumstances unfold with ease, and obstacles seem to dissolve. In contrast, misalignment feels heavy, tense, and difficult. No matter how much effort is applied, progress is slow and frustration grows. The key is to cultivate awareness of your inner state. When you notice resistance, doubt, or negativity, pause. Adjust your thoughts and emotions until they harmonize with the outcome you desire. In this state, the universe responds with incredible speed and intelligence. Alignment is also reflected in the words you speak. Words carry the vibration of your beliefs and feelings. When your words match your desires, they reinforce alignment. When they contradict your desires, they create misalignment and delay results. This is why affirmations, when spoken from belief and emotion, are so powerful. They align your subconscious with the conscious intention. But repetition without feeling does not create alignment. Only true resonance does. The universe is not moved by empty effort. It is moved by authentic alignment. Patience is a vital companion to alignment. Once you are aligned, results may not appear immediately in the visible world, but the invisible realm is already at work. Circumstances, people, and opportunities are shifting in harmony with your inner state. The law of alignment operates beyond time, arranging everything perfectly for the highest good. Effort often demands immediate results, leading to frustration and worry. Alignment trusts in the unseen process, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. To maintain alignment, you must cultivate inner stillness and clarity. Daily practices of meditation, visualization, or silent reflection help you tune your thoughts, feelings, and words to the frequency of your desire. This does not mean inactivity. It means focused resonance. When your inner state is in harmony, the universe cannot resist delivering the outer result. Effort without alignment is like rowing against a strong current, exhausting and unproductive. Alignment is like stepping into a river that carries you naturally to your destination. Life itself is evidence of this principle. Nature never struggles to grow. Rivers flow to the sea without effort. Trees reach toward the light effortlessly. The sun rises and sets in perfect rhythm. Creation itself moves through alignment. When you align with this natural law, you no longer fight the flow of life. You no longer struggle to create what you desire. You simply become a channel for the infinite intelligence that governs all things, allowing it to orchestrate circumstances, people, and events on your behalf. Alignment is not passive. It is a conscious state of being. It is the art of living in harmony with the invisible forces that create reality. Effort without this awareness produces labor, but rarely results in true satisfaction. Alignment produces effortless results, joy, and a deep sense of certainty. The universe is always responsive, but it responds only to coherence. When your inner world is aligned with your vision, your words, thoughts, and actions all become instruments of creation. Misalignment creates friction, effort, and delay. Alignment creates ease, flow, and immediate resonance with the life you seek. To live in alignment is to live in conscious partnership with the creative power of the universe. You do not push, you allow. You do not strain, you harmonize. You do not worry, you trust. Your inner state, your beliefs, your emotions, and your words all radiate the same frequency as your desire. The universe cannot resist responding. Alignment is the secret of effortless manifestation. Effort alone cannot accomplish this. Only through harmony, resonance, and coherence does the unseen intelligence move to fulfill your desires. Doubt cancels the decree. Trust completes it. This principle is one of the most profound yet overlooked laws of life. Every desire, every aspiration, and every goal is first created in the mind and spoken into existence through thought, word, and belief. When you declare a positive intention, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of the unseen. That seed, once planted, requires the nurturing of trust to grow into full manifestation. Doubt, however, is a toxin to this seed. It is a force that disrupts the harmony between your spoken word and the infinite intelligence that governs creation. When doubt arises, it negates the effect of your declaration, interrupts the flow of abundance, and delays the manifestation of your desires. Doubt is subtle. It does not always arrive as a loud, obvious statement like, "I cannot do this." Often it creeps in quietly through questions, hesitations, and mental what-ifs. Even a single moment of uncertainty can affect the vibrational frequency of your inner state. The universe does not recognize your desire in isolation. It recognizes the vibration you emit. If your vibration wavers between belief and doubt, the creative intelligence receives a mixed signal. Mixed signals produce confused results. When doubt arises, the seed of your spoken word may be planted, but it will not find the nourishing environment it needs to grow. Trust, in contrast, completes the decree. Trust is not passive hope. It is an active knowing that what you have spoken is already in process. Trust is the unwavering conviction that the universe is intelligent, abundant, and responsive to your word. It is the understanding that your desire, once expressed, has set in motion forces that will align people, circumstances, and opportunities on your behalf. Trust is the soil, water, and sunlight for the seed you have planted. Without trust, the seed struggles to survive. With trust, it flourishes effortlessly. When you speak a positive affirmation, declare a goal, or voice a desire, it must be accompanied by inner trust. Saying the words alone is not enough. Words without trust are like planting a seed on rocky ground. It may sprout temporarily, but it cannot grow into a strong and healthy plant. Trust is the deep layer of soil that allows roots to sink, strengthen, and anchor themselves. When you trust, you provide stability to your declaration. You are not constantly questioning, reevaluating, or worrying about the outcome. You are confident that the law of life is working in your favor. Many people unknowingly sabotage their own declarations because they do not maintain trust after speaking. They may affirm, "I am wealthy," but then immediately check their bank account, compare themselves to others, or listen to negative news. Each of these actions is a form of doubt that cancels the decree. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between spoken words and inner thoughts. It responds to the overall vibration of your consciousness. If doubt predominates, the energy of your word is dissipated. Trust, on the other hand, consolidates your energy and directs it to completion. Trust requires patience. The universe operates according to divine timing, not human urgency. Once you plant the seed of a desire, you must allow the invisible forces to arrange circumstances naturally. Impatience is a form of doubt, for it implies a belief that the universe is not responding fast enough. To maintain trust, you must release control over the how and when of manifestation. You focus instead on the certainty that what you have spoken is already in process. This allows the creative law to work unhindered. Every doubt interrupts this flow. Every worry diverts energy, and every second spent questioning delays the fulfillment of your decree. Visualization and feeling are essential tools in cultivating trust. When you speak your word, see it clearly in your mind's eye. Feel it as though it already exists. Immerse yourself in the emotions associated with its reality: joy, gratitude, peace, and satisfaction. These feelings are the vibration of trust in action. They reinforce your spoken word and amplify its power. Doubt diminishes this vibration. Trust magnifies it. When you feel the truth of your declaration emotionally and mentally, you are sending a unified signal to the universe. The unseen forces respond, not to the words alone, but to the totality of your belief and feeling. Trust also involves the silent acknowledgement that external circumstances do not dictate your outcome. The world around you may seem chaotic or contradictory, but these appearances do not diminish the power of your spoken word. Trust allows you to rise above the evidence of your senses and maintain faith in the invisible. Doubt, however, attaches to appearances and reacts to temporary setbacks. It is a shadow that clouds the clarity of your intention. By remaining steadfast in trust, you protect the integrity of your decree and allow the creative intelligence to orchestrate results without interference. Every manifestation story involves trust in some form. The seed of desire requires time, nurturing, and the certainty of fulfillment. Those who doubt are constantly digging at the seed, trying to force results prematurely, and in doing so they disrupt its natural growth. Those who trust remain still, confident that the universe is completing the work. The contrast is clear. Doubt invites frustration, fear, and delay. Trust invites ease, harmony, and rapid manifestation. It is important to recognize that trust is not blind belief. It is active assurance. You do not ignore challenges, but you do not allow them to shake your certainty. Trust involves conscious alignment with the truth that the creative law is unfailing. Every word you speak with faith, every intention you set with sincerity, is received and acted upon by the infinite intelligence of the universe. Doubt is the only force that cancels this effect. It creates internal conflict, vibrational disharmony, and uncertainty that interrupts the law of manifestation. Trust can be strengthened through repetition, reflection, and experience. The more you observe the results of your spoken word when combined with unwavering trust, the more your belief solidifies. Each fulfilled intention reinforces the principle that doubt cancels and trust completes. You begin to understand that the universe operates not according to human effort or struggle, but according to the harmony of belief, faith, and expectation. Trust becomes a habit, a natural state of being, and a magnetic force that draws desires into tangible form. When you speak with confidence and trust, your words become commands that the universe cannot ignore. They are like seeds planted in fertile soil, ready to grow into abundant reality. Doubt, in contrast, is a frost that withers growth before it can flourish. By cultivating trust, you ensure that the seed of your declaration receives constant nourishment, protection, and the energy required to bloom. Every word spoken with trust carries momentum. Every thought anchored in doubt dissipates potential. The power of trust lies in its ability to sustain the decree, energize the intention, and allow manifestation to unfold without interruption. Trust is the invisible ally of all who create, achieve, and succeed. It is the bridge between the spoken word and the realized reality. Doubt is the bridge's destroyer, the element that collapses possibility before it can be crossed. Those who understand this law speak their words with faith, reinforce them with trust, and allow silence to carry them to completion. The universe, intelligent and responsive, aligns all circumstances, people, and opportunities to fulfill what has been spoken. Doubt, however, introduces hesitation, fear, and resistance, which delays or distorts the outcome. The practice of trust requires discipline and mindfulness. It is not enough to speak affirmations or desires. You must continually monitor your inner state. Are you wavering in doubt, or are you standing firm in belief? Are your emotions in harmony with your spoken word, or are they undermining it? Every moment of inner alignment strengthens the decree. Every moment of doubt weakens it. Trust is therefore both a principle and a practice, a conscious choice to honor the law of manifestation and allow it to operate unhindered. Those who cultivate trust discover that their life transforms with remarkable ease. Obstacles become opportunities. Challenges are reframed as lessons, and the flow of abundance becomes natural. The spoken word, once trusted, initiates events in perfect timing, often beyond the imagination of the speaker. Doubt, on the other hand, traps the mind in struggle, frustration, and impatience. Trust completes the decree by sustaining the vibration of faith, ensuring the universe delivers the invisible into visible form. The essence of this principle is simple yet powerful. Speak with confidence, maintain unwavering trust, and allow silence to carry your word into manifestation. Doubt is the only force that interrupts the flow of creation. Trust is the force that guarantees completion. By consciously choosing trust over doubt, you align yourself with the infinite intelligence of the universe, giving every spoken word the power to become reality. Prosperity flows where peace, not noise, resides. This is a principle of profound simplicity and infinite power. The universe is a field of intelligence that responds not to struggle, complaint, or frantic activity, but to the harmonious vibration of peace within the human spirit. Peace is a state of alignment with the natural laws of creation, a quiet assurance that everything necessary for abundance is already in place and unfolding in perfect timing. Noise, on the other hand, is the outward expression of inner turmoil, doubt, and fear. It scatters energy, dilutes intention, and obstructs the flow of prosperity. True wealth and success come to those who cultivate stillness, clarity, and inner calm. Peace is not merely the absence of conflict or chaos, it is an active state of equilibrium. It is the conscious choice to rest in the certainty of divine order. When you are at peace, you are in harmony with the forces that govern all life. Your mind is clear, your emotions are balanced, and your intentions resonate with the frequency of abundance. This vibrational alignment draws prosperity naturally, like water flowing to the lowest point. Noise, in contrast, creates turbulence. It is a signal of misalignment, a vibration of doubt, fear, or impatience that repels the very blessings you seek. Many people pursue wealth and success through frantic effort, constant worry, or relentless chatter. They believe that noise is action and action is results. They speak of their desires repeatedly, fret about outcomes, and strive tirelessly to control circumstances. Yet the universe does not respond to effort alone. It responds to vibration. Effort without peace is like pounding on a locked door. No matter how much you strike it, it will not open. Peace, however, unlocks invisible channels. It is the magnetic force that attracts opportunities, resources, and favorable circumstances with minimal struggle. To cultivate peace is to release the need to force, manipulate, or control. It is to surrender to the intelligence that governs the universe, knowing that what you desire is already in motion. When you speak affirmations, set goals, or visualize abundance, peace ensures that your words and thoughts are aligned with their fulfillment. You do not need to explain, justify, or argue for your success. You simply allow it to manifest, confident in the invisible law that orchestrates all things. Noise interrupts this law, peace amplifies it. The mind at peace is receptive. It notices opportunities that the frantic mind overlooks. It sees solutions where chaos sees obstacles. Prosperity requires more than action. It requires awareness, discernment, and the capacity to respond to circumstances intelligently. Noise clouds perception, creating confusion and misjudgment. Peace, however, is the still water in which clarity is reflected. The tranquil mind attracts people, resources, and situations that match its vibration. It draws to itself the very conditions that make prosperity inevitable. Inner peace also cultivates emotional stability. Fear, worry, and anxiety are powerful forms of noise that block abundance. When you dwell in fear, you signal to the universe that you are resistant, insecure, or unprepared to receive. Peace, however, communicates readiness and receptivity. It allows you to maintain a steady, confident vibration even when circumstances appear uncertain. The universe responds not to appearances, but to the underlying state of consciousness. Prosperity cannot flow where fear reigns. It flows where trust, calm, and inner certainty prevail. Silence is the natural companion of peace. To speak affirmations, intentions, or prayers with noise and agitation is to create conflicting vibrations. Words spoken in calm, measured tones, imbued with belief and expectation, resonate with the creative forces of the universe. The less frantic noise you emit, the clearer and stronger your signal becomes. Silence is not inactivity, it is focused receptivity. It allows the invisible forces to arrange people, opportunities, and circumstances in perfect alignment with your desires. The one who masters silence after speaking amplifies the power of peace in attracting prosperity. Peace also fosters gratitude, which is a powerful magnet for abundance. When you are at peace, you are able to appreciate the present moment, recognize blessings already present, and acknowledge the unseen workings of the universe in your favor. Gratitude raises your vibration, reinforcing the flow of prosperity. Noise, on the other hand, focuses attention on lack, deficiency, or what is missing. Constant complaining, comparing, or striving in desperation creates a vibration that repels abundance. The more you cultivate inner peace and gratitude, the more prosperity is drawn to you effortlessly. The natural law that governs prosperity is rhythmical and orderly. Just as rivers flow smoothly when unobstructed, so does wealth flow when the mind and spirit are calm. Noise creates friction, resistance, and turbulence. It is an energy leak that dissipates the force of your intention. Peace, in contrast, is a channel that directs energy efficiently, allowing abundance to flow unimpeded. Every thought, word, and action rooted in tranquility carries coherence, and coherence is magnetic. The universe moves in harmony with coherent vibration, bringing prosperity to those who embody it. Peace also strengthens faith, which is the foundation of manifestation. When your heart and mind are at peace, trust arises naturally. You no longer doubt that your desires will be fulfilled. The tranquil state of consciousness assures the unseen forces that you are ready to receive. Noise, conversely, is the companion of doubt, worry, and impatience. It broadcasts uncertainty and disrupts the alignment necessary for manifestation. Prosperity is attracted not by frantic effort, but by quiet certainty and unwavering expectation. Those who dwell in peace find that prosperity often arrives in unexpected ways. They do not need to chase opportunities or fight for success. Instead, they create an environment of calm receptivity that allows blessings to flow effortlessly. Peace aligns you with the natural order of life, where resources, people, and circumstances converge to fulfill your desires. The law of abundance operates invisibly, but it is always consistent. Noise interrupts this operation. Peace ensures it functions without obstruction. To cultivate peace, one must practice self-discipline, awareness, and conscious alignment with the inner state of calm. Meditation, reflection, conscious breathing, and moments of silence strengthen peace. Limiting unnecessary chatter, avoiding negative influences, and focusing on constructive thoughts also support this state. The more consistently you dwell in peace, the more naturally prosperity flows into your life. Inner stillness becomes the fertile ground from which all abundance springs. Peace also improves decision-making and action. When you are calm, your mind evaluates options clearly, chooses wisely, and acts effectively. Noise clouds judgment, causes rash decisions, and wastes energy. Prosperity is not merely the accumulation of wealth, it is the result of intelligent action, guided by clarity and inner harmony. The tranquil mind knows when to act, what to say, and how to align with the natural flow of abundance. Noise disrupts this rhythm, scattering energy and delaying results. The principle that prosperity flows where peace resides is evident in the lives of those who manifest effortlessly. Their success is rarely born of frantic effort, competition, or loud assertion. Instead, it is rooted in an inner state of calm confidence, clarity of intention, and alignment with universal laws. Wealth, opportunity, and influence naturally gravitate toward their peaceful vibration. Conversely, those who operate from fear, worry, and noise struggle continually, repelling the very prosperity they seek. Peace creates a magnetic field. It draws favorable circumstances, supportive people, and timely opportunities. It amplifies the power of spoken words, intentional thoughts, and aligned actions. The more peace you cultivate, the more effortless your manifestation becomes. Noise, impatience, and agitation scatter energy, dilute intention, and block the natural flow of abundance. True prosperity is, therefore, inseparable from inner tranquility. It flows where the mind is still, the heart is calm, and the spirit is serene. To embody this principle, one must commit to prioritizing inner harmony over external struggle. You must learn to quiet the mind, release anxiety, and trust the intelligence of the universe. Every moment spent in peace strengthens your ability to attract wealth, health, love, and success. Silence, reflection, gratitude, and trust are the tools by which you maintain this state. Prosperity is a natural consequence of peace, for the universe responds to vibration, not noise, and abundance is drawn to those whose inner world resonates with calm and clarity.